Hello, people. I know I'm running a little bit late. Sorry. The one day that I like say I'm going to do it at 7 and don't actually say that, and then schedule it for like 7:10 or 7:15, like because that's usually what I do. I'll usually put on my promo that I'm going to start at a certain time, and then I start like 10, 15 minutes later because it's just easier that way, right? So please, let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Hopefully, hopefully it goes okay. Oh, I didn't even check to see if it was on my oh shit. I didn't even check to see if my mic was on right. Okay. If it was on my actual mic or if it's on the webcam mic. Yay! Awesome. You know what though? I feel like I 1 second, just let me turn off my TV in the background. It was playing. Well, hello everyone. Thanks for coming to my stream tonight. Oh, hi there, Brayden. I know you'll be listening in the background. He's working. Kiki, Erica, nice to see you. Joanna, Victor, yay! Let's see who else we got. Alexis, good to see you. Jason H, nice. Dennis and Tiffany, nice to see you guys. Oh, I'm so happy. But I'm also really nervous. I'll be real with you. I'm actually really nervous about this one more than I have been the other ones, and I feel like it's because things were in the last two parts. There wasn't as much compacted together. It was like I was able to follow things linearly and be able to talk about it in a linear fashion, but now when we get to part 3 of my story, it overlaps. Like there's like I have to if I talk about one part, then something else happens in between this part and the end of that part, now there's like how do I shift gears in a way to where it like flows, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just asking for prayers, guys, to please help me be understood here, what I'm getting ready to share, and I ask also for prayers of protection because I am going to touch a little bit of a hot button subject, but that's okay because I brought something with me today. That's right. Queen of Swords here today. We're about to be cutting some people up because it's time. Because there's people talking mad shit in the community. Maybe not mad shit, but I mean pretty mad, crazy, mentioning me behind my back, talking about me. And I just want to address that because I actually have mentioned this person. I've mentioned this person before. Oh, I'm about to tell you. I'm about to tell you guys everything. I'm just trying to get up the nerve. Okay, so I've talked about this guy before. This guy was the dog. I refer to him as the dog, and that's because the heart songs that Spirit gave me for him from the very beginning. One of the first heart songs they gave me for him was Doja Cat's song called Vegas. And in this song, the chorus basically just says, "You're nothing but a dog, nothing but a hound dog, and you're a coward, basically." And this man is a coward. Okay, because he won't even come to the table and actually talk about the things that he's accusing people of behind our backs. Like we have tried, like me, and I'll just tell you, it was me and Matthew Mornian. Okay, this man is accusing me and Matthew Mornian of doing things like hacking his phone at a conference. This guy, who happened to used to, I think, if I remember correctly, he used to work in IT. Okay, he was an IT guy. So, But anyway, Spirit gave me a song for him, and so this will be my direct message to him to start off with, and then we're going to get into the details of what he said and why he's just basically a liar at this point. Because it's like, what is wrong with you, dude? And the song that Spirit gave me was this: I don't fuck with you, you little stupid ass bitch. I ain't fucking with you. You little dumb ass bitch. I ain't fucking with you. There's a million trillion things that I'd rather fucking do than to be fucking with you. I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about you at all, dude. I don't give a fuck. 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 I don't give a fuck about you or anything that you do. I don't give a fuck about you or anything that you do. So that's my message to you. I don't give a fuck about you. Quit fucking talking about me. Leave my name out your mouth. Leave Matthew Morning's name out your mouth. We don't give a fuck about you. Truly. Like, we have other things to be thinking about, other things to be doing. We don't give a fuck about you. So why you would think that we would go so far as to want to hack your motherfucking phone? Like, have you never listened to a live stream on Matthew? Have you never listened to one where he basically says he's a Luddite? He's a self-proclaimed Luddite, okay? That means, like, he's not good at technology. I'm not good at technology. You know, I want to do streams with people. I don't even know how to do that. I don't even know how to get my technology right so that way I can do streams with people. You know? Like, this motherfucking guy, this fucking guy, this SSP golden boy thinks he's smarter than everyone else because he had a 20 in back. He literally told me that. That's why I say it, because everything that I'm about to tell you guys today is things that he told me. Not just things he told me, screenshots I've seen of the shit he was talking behind my back for no reason. I literally, like, after I wrote my last final message to him, his final send-off, okay, like, I literally stopped giving a fuck. Like, basically, I'll tell you, my last message to him, I told him I won't hold back. If someone asks me about my opinions on you, I will tell them exactly why. I will explain my reasons. And this has nothing to do with his work. I'm not talking shit about his work. His work is off the table as far as I'm concerned. This is about him as a man, as a person. Coward. That is what he is. And I called him that too. And I feel like that was when he really fucking lost it. So let me see what I got down here in my notes. Okay. So Spirit told me a lot of things. I went and I visited him. He asked me to come visit him last December. Okay. Now, we had already been talking on and off for a couple of years. Like, if you know, the first Journey to Truth conference that I went to, everywhere I went, I had a picture with him. He was calling me over everywhere. Come take a picture. Come take a picture. Come take a picture. You know, at one point in front of one of the speakers, he was like, I have a crush on Cassandra. And he gave me a kiss in front of another speaker. Okay. And he was married at the time. And I thought to myself, oh my God. And here's the craziest fucking part is, I actually had a dream about it. I had a dream about the Journey to Truth conference before it ever happened. And in, you know, just like how all my dreams I have, where it's like the dream elements and they all come true, right? Okay. So I had a dream about him. And in this dream, he was coming up to me and he was wanting to touch me. He was telling me how beautiful I was. And he was like, and I was kind of like taken back in the dream. I was kind of like, what is going on here? And he was coming and he was like doing this thing where he's just like not touching me, but he's like putting his hands all around me. And then he gets to my throat and he starts to close in on it. And I thought to myself, and I said out loud in the dream, I said, please don't choke me here. Please. Okay. And wouldn't you know it? So now I'm driving up to see him this past last December, and Spirit is talking to me like it always does, and it's showing me vision. See, that's the thing. When you have tempered yourself and you control your own thoughts and you control your own feelings and your emotions, okay, when you keep it at a baseline, right? When things come in that aren't you recognize them real fucking quick. So one of the visions that they kept showing me was of him getting violent with me during an intimate act. Okay, like hitting me violent. I'm like, I got kind of scared. I was like, is this guy gonna hit? Like, am I making a mistake here? Like, could this guy possibly get violent with me? You know, like now I had the dream about him choking me. Like, this is weird. Now, because now here's the thing. Now he had cleaned up his business. Okay, he wasn't married anymore, right? Okay, so that's why I was going to visit him. He was living on his own, all that type of stuff. And they also told me that he's watched all the time. Spirit said they watch him all the time. Just so you know, they're going to be watching you too. They know about you coming and they're watching. Okay? So when I actually get there and things actually go down, tell me why during the act itself he's asking me, would you be willing to say something to me to make you angry enough for me to make me angry enough to hit you? And then could I? He's asking me in the middle of to say something to make him angry enough to want to hit me. And then can he have permission to do that? No. No, you cannot. Absolutely not. Okay? He had a whole agenda though. He had a whole agenda. I sensed it. Like I said, he thinks he's smart. He thinks he's getting the fast. He literally told me, like, because of this 20 back of his, that he's got all this experience. You know what I'm saying? And people just don't understand that. You know, they don't understand where he's coming from. But I could feel it. It's like this guy thinks he's playing motherfucking 5D chess, and I'm just like, Spirit's literally telling me the whole time, like all these things, like, no, bro. Like it was all to cover. This is my theory. Okay, this is what Spirit was basically guiding me. Intuition was that it was all to cover the group that he's attached to, because I had been critical of this group. Okay, this particular woman in this group. All right, and not only that, but Matthew Morning had also been very critical of this group and this woman. And it made, you know, and it just made me wonder. And I asked Spirit, like, what is the deal? Why are they so afraid of Matthew Morning? Why are they so afraid? And it's like, I really feel like this is it. It's because he already brought down Spirit Being Alliance pretty much. He already did that. When you are being fake and you're behaving inappropriately to the standard, the level of which you are being raised as a leader in the community, and then you're treating people behind the scenes in a shit fucking fashion, you know, it deserves to be called out. Just because you have a good story doesn't mean you get to be a trash human to people behind the scenes, right? So that puts a certain level of power in their eyes, their perception. This puts a certain level of power in the hands of Matthew Morning, okay? So how are they going to try and how was Tony and this other group going to try and get to him to keep us shut? Because I'd also, like I said, I'd done a video on this woman criticizing one of one of the videos I'd watched of hers, and I had some just questions. It wasn't even harsh criticisms or anything. It was just questions. It's like, could you explain this to me? Because this doesn't make sense. You know, like claiming that all reptilians are cleaned off the planet or something, right? Or was it Grace? I can't remember. I can't remember which one it was, because I just don't really follow her because it just doesn't vibe with me. You know? So he was saying all these things out of nowhere. Like bringing up random people, and it's like every time he would, it was like, there's a fucking agenda here. There's a reason why he's saying all this. It was all to like put out the fire of me or Matthew criticizing this woman. Like, okay, you know, like I didn't buy it. And all the things that he explained to me, I thought to myself, well, that doesn't explain the other side of the story. It doesn't explain the fact that they are literally using the exact same tactics as like Democrats and liberals use, the projection, calling out things in others that's in themselves. You know what's so fucked up and crazy too is that someone screenshotted a post that he made where he basically talked about it. People really, they accuse you of what they're doing, you know, which is so crazy because I'd written a comment on Matthew Morning's post where he talked about this. Okay, and I ended up deleting it because I wanted to just go ahead and address it here, you know. But basically, I said something along the lines of, you know, what people accuse you of is very telling. It really tells you something that the inspiration that they get, it's very telling. Okay, and so all we really want is the truth to prevail. That's what's so maddening about this all, is that he won't even come to the table to talk about it. Like, he won't even be a mature adult man and just come to the table. We want peace. We want harmony. We don't want division in the community. But to say that we would go and hack his phone when he was the one that was the IT guy, and I have a screenshot of him, he accidentally wrote a friend of mine, a girlfriend of mine, okay, 2 years ago. And he wrote this girlfriend of mine an accidental message where basically he said, yeah, hack this guy's phone too. Hack this guy's phone too. So who's the hacker? I mean, this guy's so paranoid, He literally thinks Corey Good is stalking him through his computer. He told me that he'll even type into Google sometimes, hey, Corey, how you doing this morning? You know, it's like, where did this paranoia come from? Because I'm going to be real with you guys. He's one of the people I actually made a heart wish for. And I do feel like I got confirmation that it happened. And I still will honor that. And it's still going to be a part, it's always going to be a part of my story. You know, but this guy and who he was, the person I was inspired to make the heart wish for, I think they're two different people now. I think he has changed. I think he has shifted. I think it became more about the money and the fame, possibly. Or who knows? Maybe they, you know, the MK Ultra programming that he would, maybe he's being taken advantage of in that way. Maybe the group that he's associated with has a handler for him and is influencing him that way. I don't know. I don't really know in the long run when it comes to that. Let's see. He told me he had some. Here's the thing, and he wants to sit there and deny that he has done anything magically, psychically to other people. Well, let me tell you, when I wrote my last final message to him, where I basically, in length, told him in detail exactly the feelings and the thoughts I had about him, and told him, you know, I'm not afraid to tell anyone. Like, I didn't sign no fucking NDA, motherfucker. I didn't sign no NDA. Chat disconnected. Please wait. Well, okay, sorry. Said my check. So I didn't sign no NDA. I had an experience with you. I'm going to talk about it. Again, I'm not talking about your work. I'm talking about who you were as a man to me. And now how you are using the fact that we had a falling out to lie and slander me behind my back. Like, you can't even be man enough to say it to my face, you know? Like, okay, so he told me when I went and visited him in December that he had some of his own magical techniques, and that if anyone fucks with him, he knew some things he could do. Okay, one of the last messages that I wrote him, I only had one typo in it, and I talked about this on one of my streams in the past. Okay, let me know if the chat's still working, guys, because there's something weird going on over here on my screen, and I don't know what's going on. So hopefully there's not some interference. So again, prayers for protection, because this guy has psychically attacked me. Okay, I wrote one typo in this message, and I said it left a sore taste in my mouth or something. It left a sore taste in my mouth. I meant to say sour. It left a sour taste in my mouth. Something that, you know, an action he had taken, you know. And suddenly I realized, like within 5 minutes of me sending this message, my throat started to hurt. It started to feel like there was someone literally, felt like someone literally choking me. My throat started to swell closed. Okay, and so I closed my eyes, and when I saw a vision of him. The spirit's like, wow, you finally said the thing to trigger him. You know, to do the thing he wanted, right? Because that's what he got. Apparently, he gets his kicks off of that. So my throat was sore for almost a week too, right? Like, so I mean, I don't give a fuck about him anymore. Like, I'll let it go. I have more important things to worry about. But I'm going to cover all of this because this is the thing I said. I just was like, this is my experience with you. I'm not going to be afraid to tell people of it. All right. Let's see. Yeah, he also said he uses Vogel crystals. He said he could use those to send energy to people, like sexual energy and stuff like that. I think possibly one of the things that could be wrong with him, though, is, or has made him shift over into this extreme paranoia, all right, is he told me he takes a supplement called cake. Okay, you can look up what it's for. Literally called cake. I think it's messing with his testosterone. It could be more drugs than that, though. It could be other drugs. I don't really know. I just know that this is paranoia. To think that just because we are trying to talk to you or text you and say, hey, what is going on here? Like, he literally accused, like, we were at the Full Disclosure Now conference, and he accuses Matthew of doing this black magic on him. And then he won't even come and talk to us to see, like, well, tell us, like, we care. We sincerely want to know. We want to know, what was it that you experienced so we can help you? I don't fuck with this dude. I'm done. I'm so done with this guy. Like, I don't ever plan on mentioning his name ever again, or any of this, unless someone asks me. If someone asks me, what do you think about this guy? I'm going to tell them exactly what I think about this guy. Okay, so I just, yeah. All I ever asked really, and the thing that upset me the most is that all I ever asked for was for him to just be honest with me. Just be open and honest with me. Just clue me in. Don't be talking to me, be dating me on and off. Okay. Don't be making plans to come see me. And then I find out from one of my other friends that now you have a girlfriend and you wanted to schedule an appointment for a tattoo with you and your new girlfriend because she's going to be visiting you for 3 weeks. And this was around the same time that you said you were going to come visit me. Like, that's fine. I don't even care if you found someone else and you had a girlfriend. I'm be happy for you. It wasn't at that level of depth yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could have easily gone the other way for me too. If I met someone that I had a stronger connection with, I would have just come to this guy and I just would have been like, hey, we had a good time. It was a good run, but yeah, I'm going to go take my chances with this guy. But that's the thing, is that I'm not going to settle down with any man. I'm not going to commit myself into a relationship with any man unless there are conditions that are met first, right? Unless there's a certain spark, a certain energetic connection, and it's made clear to me. Like, I just won't. I have fucked around enough and found out in my past. I'm done. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else I want to say about it. Yeah, I actually have a screenshot of him saying, Cassandra and Matthew Mornian hacked my phone, and it's so sad because we have a weakness for women. Really, you have a weakness for women? Really? Women that you like to hit or want to hit, like addicted to porn? Because that's the other thing he told me. Like, he just takes his cake supplement and just watches porn and beats off 5-6 times a day. Like, interesting life. You don't think in a spiritual community you would? How do you not know the entities and stuff that are associated with porn sites? Like, it doesn't take much to figure this out. I also thought it was quite interesting that he's so opposed to getting hypnotic regressions done. Like, he's literally said he refuses to do anything like that. Like, if spirit wants to tell him or unlock that for him, then he will just go ahead and do it. But you know what I think? I think he doesn't want to do it because he's scared. It makes me wonder if there's things about his story that maybe aren't true. But again, like I said, this isn't about his story. I believed his story. I mean, I think most of us do feel like he's got so much evidence to back up that story, but that doesn't give you a right to be a fucking dog to women in the community and just bounce your way through us. It doesn't fucking give you the right to do that. And it doesn't give you the right that after you burn one of them, that they actually step up and say, hey, you know what? You're nothing but this thing. And I regret ever messing around with you. And here is why, yada, yada, yada. Like, an adult man should be able to handle that. The second he saw me at that conference, this guy fucking tucked his tail and ran. He hid in his room the entire conference. I heard through the grapevine at City, he said, because there's people there that don't like him. Because I did say, I said, we're not cool anymore. I said, don't come up to me asking for a hug, because that's what he had done at the Journey to Truth, the third one, with his new girlfriend. I said, don't come running up to me asking for no hug. We aren't cool like that. I said, I don't need you to tell me that I'm beautiful when I'm out there shining in my blue fairy lights. I don't need that from you. I don't need nothing from you. And I'm done. Okay, so bottom line, pray for our safety, because that's the thing. When someone feels attacked, it's the natural response to want to attack back, right? So a part of me really thinks he must really feel like he must have really been attacked. But for him to assume that it was Matthew Mordian of all people, like, it was laughable. It was fucking laughable. Not only that, but to say he rubbed fecal matter on him. It's like, wow, what? How does someone even come up with that as an ideal, an imagination? Like, disgusting, like, absolute. So I'm just putting it out there. If anyone hears this person talking about me or Matthew Mornian behind our backs, please let it be known to kindly shut the fuck up and leave our names out your goddamn mouth. There's no reason for you to be talking about us. You have a life to live, and so do we. Cut this shit out. You want peace? Come to the table. We will make peace clear. That's what we want most. In fact, that's what we were calling out the most about the cult that he is a part of now at this point. We're calling them out because they are doing all of those divisive tactics that they claim everyone else is doing to them. Okay. So leave our names out your fucking mouth. Leave our name out your mouth. And if I have any type of psychic attack between now and whenever, you know, the little blowout period here, I'll give it a little time, you know. If anything happens to me, I'm just calling out right now, it's because of him. I'm telling you that right now. You don't want to start this. I don't want to do anything else. I just want to go on living my life. I have so many things to be grateful and happy and excited about. I don't need none of this fucking garbage mess from you. Move it along. It's like, come on, guys. Have we learned nothing from the Corey Good experience? Have we learned nothing? Anyway, let's go ahead and change the topic, right? Yeah. So, it wasn't us. Just letting you know. We don't care. You're not that special to us. You're not that important to us. Okay, moving on. Go ahead and switch gears, right? That's done. That's over with. Okay, I'm going to need to take a hit of this for a second. Because you know how upsetting it is, how infuriating it is, too, that because of his status and because of his power, like, people don't want to hear it? Like, I literally had someone come up and ask me yesterday, well, what's going on with this stuff? You know, like, but I don't want to hear about it because I don't want to get involved. That's what they said. So it's like, what? Like, you want to know what it is, what it's about, but then you don't want to get involved. Okay, people. Like, we're not asking for anything other than the truth. The truth to be revealed. And that is really, truly, I'm requesting that from God. I'm asking for the truth to be revealed. Okay? To him and to the community. I'm asking God to please assist us and clear our names and to make it right. Done. Okay. So, you know what really kicked off all of these live streams for me? Oh, hi, Geraldine. I'm sorry. I see you now. And hi, Angel Lori. Let's get back. Hi, Chris. Oh, man. More people showed up. That's great. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and look real quick and get a little, yeah. Paranoid narcissist. Sounds like it, right? You guys can guess who he is. SSP Golden Boy. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to even say his name out loud because, you know, that's what Elena did. I'm not going to say his name out loud. That's what that chick did when I made my video about her criticizing her thing. She made a video, but she didn't mention my name. She just said, she went on and on about pretty tarot readers who pull fortune cookies. How she doesn't even need tarot cards to tell the future. She's obviously better than me, right? Sure. Sure. All right. Okay. Thank you, Victor, for the heads up on that one. Okay. Yes. Yeah, it is. It was fucking crazy. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. You know, I'm not the first person. Victor, I hear you. Okay, Victor says, oh, and warn Tyler about him too, in case he shows up at the next one, at the next Journey to Truth conference. Well, Tyler and this guy are very close. See, so I have thought about reaching out to him just because I wanted to make peace. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to be like, dude, could you just help us out a little bit? You know, like, come on. Like, Tyler's a level-headed guy. You know, we're not trying to topple this guy's career or anything like that. Like, we're just really just trying to get to the heart of it. Like, just shut your fucking mouth with the lies. Like, because you're scared. It's like, why are you so scared? If there's nothing to be exposed, that you're afraid of being exposed, then why are you so afraid? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Okay. So, and thank you, Angel. I see your message about deserving your frequency match. I agree. And we're going to talk about that more. Okay. Okay. So let's just scroll down now. Okay. So you know what really kicked all these streams off for me again is part 1, part 2, part 3. You know, I realized it really came to me after, not only after my double rainbow confirmation that I'd asked for from my Miss Universe, right? I'd asked for that and I got it. But it also was because when I went into the hospital back in August, okay, because I had a terrible mouth infection from a broken tooth that I have, I could feel it in my mouth, and I could feel the infection all in my head. And I was really worried, like, that I was going to go, like, it was going to go sepsis in my blood, right? Because I was taking antibiotics. That's the thing. I had been taking amoxicillin, and it clearly wasn't working. So this was a really nasty bug, and I really thought I was going to die. And when I thought that, when I felt that, there was this sadness inside me that was like, oh my God, like, you had all these things that you were still holding in that you never shared. Oh man. There's all these things that I hadn't shared with the people who matter the most to me. I hadn't shared them. And I was like, there's no promise of tomorrow. So whatever needs to be done and needs to be said needs to start now. You know, and that's really the heart songs that have been pouring in for me this past week, which is really funny that it's called The Greatest Showman. It's from The Greatest Showman, the musical, right? My life is a musical, by the way. And these songs from The Greatest Showman, there's one called The Other Side, there's one called From Now On, and that's the one that I was really pulling from, I feel like, in August from that. It's like basically from now on, what needs to happen starts tonight. Whatever I'm putting off needs to start tonight. What does he say? He says, from now on, my eyes will not be blinded by the light. We'll wait until tomorrow starts tonight. You know, because all of these things that happened to me just brought me back into alignment with realizing what was most important to me. And that was this experiences that I'd gone through and how it transformed and changed and healed my life to where I'm at now, where I feel connected to God, where I feel connected to myself, where I feel like I have a purpose and I have meaning. And every day I get to have an ongoing conversation with God and synchronicities and music and dancing and little things just that mean something. Okay. Again, I'm gonna probably be going kind of slow here today, guys, because this one just didn't flow as well or as easy because it's like things are getting more complex. There's layers to all of this. Okay, but one of the things that we continue to talk about and that Spirit continually says to me and has said to me since I started this road, this path from my sacred marriage ceremony, my heart activation. Okay, when I was so nervous and I was so scared to share any of my truth with anyone, Spirit would say one thing, and they continually repeat this to me. It's going to work out. It's going to work out even better than you can imagine it. Even better than I can imagine it. Yes, even better than I can imagine it. So I decided I won't imagine an ending. I'm going to leave that open to God, for God to decide the ending, because, again, Course in Miracles taught me I don't perceive my own best interest. So God will show me the way to fulfill my true heart's desires, which is for true connection with people, the truth, the true stuff. I don't want fake stuff. I want the real things, what they really mean, the deeper layers, the deeper meanings. I want that. I will not be satisfied with anything less than that. Okay, so So basically, that's what I'm doing. I'm exposing myself here for all of you so that you can have the opportunity to join me, because no one ever told me growing up that it was possible to feel this type of way, that it was possible to have a connection, that we have a higher self, that it was possible to have an actual marriage ceremony with yourself in this way, so that way you would be connected with God. Like, no one told me these steps. And so I want to share these steps with you because I want to see more people fulfilled. I want to see them more happy. I want to see them more content, you know? And how will we even do that if we don't even know it's an option? See, the truth is that the whole point of this experience on earth, this life that we live, is to work through our traumas, because the traumas create resistance in the body. Okay? And so we need to work to clear those resistances, those traumas from the body, so that more of Christ consciousness can flow into it, so that more of your own self, your higher self, your piece of God can come into the body, and so that God's will can be done on earth. You're part of God. If you just strictly rely on your body and your mind, you will make bad choices for yourself in the long run. You won't be able to perceive your own best interest. It's up to you to join with God in order to know that, because God is more fulfilling than any human desire that could be met. Like, it's crazy. Okay. So you want to get those traumas out of your body. Right? You want to merge with your higher self. When you merge that higher self with your body, you literally create a new version of yourself. For me, that's the blue fairy. Okay? The body, Cassandra, the higher self, Aurora. Together, we created the blue fairy. All right. So I labeled this the High Priestess, so we're going to go over some of the High Priestess things today. And I even realized, too, like, wow, I really am walking us through the tarot, the major arcana, because, like, right, we started with the Fool. We started with the Magician. Now we're on to the High Priestess. What comes next? The Empress, then the Emperor, then the Hierophant, then the Lovers. So that's where I'm walking towards. I'm going towards the Lovers. The Lovers card truly is representative. Was that the word? It represents the sacred marriage. Okay, and then after that sacred marriage happens, the Chariot. Okay, and I remember after I moved into my dream house at the time, you know, Spirit kept telling me the Chariot, the Chariot, the Chariot, and I remember looking it up in the book that I had of Elizabeth Heitch Initiation, Wisdom of the Tarot. Okay, and it basically said, like, I was on a level basically where it's like boss level up, you know, so like harder tests were going to be coming for me. And it was true. And the harder tests did come. Okay. But let's get back, because see, now I am fully driving the Chariot. I get it now. I get it. Okay. I'm driving my Chariot. I have a goal in mind. My goal is union with God. Okay. How do I get to that destination? Okay. Well, let's go back now, though. Let's step backwards here. So the High Priestess. The High Priestess, I thought about it like this, because, you know, I've always explained the High Priestess energy as like, you know, you got 2 cans of soda. I'm sure you remember hearing this. If you've watched any of my streams and the High Priestess come up. Okay. 2 cans of soda, you shake them up, right? And then you have to decide which one's the one that's going to explode on you, which one's not. Okay. Think about it like this too. Okay. Think of schizophrenia. Okay. People who hear voices, right? Now, how do you distinguish between someone who is actually like something resulting from brain chemistry or whatever else that causes this thing, this schizophrenia, to be labeled that, I just suffer in this way? Okay, how do you tell the difference between someone who's that or someone who is actually just hearing spirit, who their field is actually opened up in such a way to where they have no filter, they have no stop, it's just all coming into all at once? You know what I'm saying? How do you tell the difference? Those are the 2 soda cans, right? Schizophrenia. Which one is which? You know, you have to go through tests to be able to feel the difference, to know the difference. All right, I had another one. your identity, right? Well, how do you know the difference between the parts of yourself that may have been shaped by your your environment, your community, your culture? How do you know the difference between this is what you say you are and what you truly are inside? What what you are, your personality wise, like what is truly you and not coming from somewhere outside, some outer world influence. How do you tell the difference? And for me, it came from a tip that I gotten from my best guy over here, right? And the tip was this, okay, because there were plenty of times all along this road where I was just like, I don't want to show myself anymore. Like, I don't want to show myself. I can't post this thing. I can't name myself Aurora. I can't do this thing or that. I can't do any of that because what people will think. They'll think something. They'll think this. They'll think that. They'll think I'm copying this, right? Something like that. And so at that point, my guy would say, "Stop, stop, okay, like stop. You need to go into a meditation, and you need to pretend like no one else in the world exists. There's no one else. Okay, you're the only being here. You need to go down. You need to do like a hermit mode type of thing. You need to go inside and find out what it is. What's in here? Is this what is me? And like for instance, like for me, it was like, okay, what? Because I had to change my name on Facebook, right? Facebook banned my account fucking 6 times. I couldn't go back to Cassandra. They wouldn't. They were gonna find me. They already found me several times. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to name myself a new thing. Okay, what would you name yourself if you could call yourself anything? What would it be? Well, it would be Aurora. It would be Aurora. I didn't do it. Don't worry about anyone else. Don't think about what anyone else would think. Don't care. You have to not care. And so that is what took me so long to get to this point, okay, to where literally death had to scare me to get me to finish sharing my story because I'd already done this in past lives where I didn't, okay, I didn't say what I really felt. I didn't tell people what they really meant to me, and they died before I got a chance to do that. And I had taken a vow of silence, and that was why I had taken a vow of silence, and I still have to fight for that vow of silence. I still feel it, and it drives me insane. I push through it. I try. I push through it all the time because I'd taken a vow of silence in the community in the work that I was doing in ancient Egypt. So I'd already gone down that road, and I didn't want to go down that again. Okay, so I had to get to the place though where I was willing to tell my story, and I wasn't going to care about what anyone else thought about it. That was hard because I care about people's feelings. I care about what they think. A part of me was really holding on to stuff like that. I want to be pleasing. I want people to be pleased with me, right? But in order to tell your truth, you have to not care about that shit. You just can't. If you're going to really expose yourself, you can't. You can't care. So I had to get to that point, and I did. I did get to that point. Okay. And so what I've noticed now, all right, is when I stop and I look back at my life for that year, right, that I put all of this stuff away, and I said, I'm not going to think about any of that anymore. I'm not going to think about the experiences I had anymore. I'm just going to focus on whatever it is I'm doing now. And like I said, the blue fairy was gone. I didn't feel her with me anymore. She was left back at the tree. I told my guides to go stay with her. Okay. And when all of that changed, and I came back and I started opening myself back up to that idea again, like, okay, wait, let's tune back into my world. Let's tune back into it. Okay, let's take a look. All right. And when that connection, I got the blue fairy back and we're talking again. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm just so overjoyed. I felt so good. It was like, it didn't even matter if I had to smoke. It didn't like the desire to smoke cigarettes. It was like, it didn't even matter anymore. I was taking like so much kratom. I ain't gonna lie, guys. I was addicted to Suboxone for quite a long time. I used kratom to get off Suboxone, and then I was just addicted to kratom. And because of the stress in my life, I was taking way more than I should, right? But then I had my double rainbow confirmation, and I went to the hospital, and because I was in the hospital for 2 days, all right, I couldn't smoke in the hospital, and so I knew this was the opportunity because I had asked, I had prayed, and I said, please help me. I said, I need you to just take this shit for me because I can't stop. I can't stop on my own, God, and I need to stop, you know, because I realized now part of me was choosing death. I wanted to die at that point. My life had lost its divine purpose in a sense. And when all of this stuff came back to me, I started healing. I used that 2 day experience in the hospital to be my jump off point to quit cigarettes, right? I used it to cut down extremely majorly on my kratom. Okay, like I said, music started coming back. I'm dancing. I cut out junk food the same way. No, my diet has to change. I was eating so many sweets, guys. I was eating so much sugar. I was just killing myself. Just killing myself. I'm not doing that anymore. And so that's another reason that I know that I'm onto something here. I'm on a path and I'm walking it again. And it's like the stagnation that I felt for that year, the tower moment that had left me in shambles for a year was now being fixed. I could feel the energy moving through me completely, all the way through my root chakra, which is a very interesting feeling when it's able to actually go all the way down and out. You know, I notice it a lot more when I'm like crying, honestly. I notice it a lot more, just the surges of energy that like it just pours through like a cup. You're just washing yourself. It just pours through. Okay. Okay. So let's see if we can. Oh my God, guys. Oh my God. Please, God, help me. I have so many pages here again. And like I said, it was really hard to put like the piece this one in a way that would flow. So please bear with me. Oh, hi, Barry. Nice to see you here. Mm-hmm. Oh, don't even be worried, Barry. Don't even. But you might want to go back and listen to my musical rendition of a Big Sean song. It's gonna be great. It's hilarious. Anyway, okay, so really, when you're climbing the ladder of ascension, which I've talked about before, which Elizabeth Heitch in her book Initiation referred to as Jacob's Ladder, where you're climbing up the 7-rung ladder. Okay, and you get to, what is it? It's like rocks and rocks type of consciousness, then vegetation, then animals, then humans, then it's I feel like artist or something like that. Okay, and then there's a God man. I can't. I always there's one. There's like I keep forgetting the title. There's like artist, and then one here, and then God man. I'm pretty sure. I'm forgetting this one. I'll look it up and we'll get back to that. But anyway, so the whole point back in ancient Egypt, okay, is what they used to do. What she described in this book was they would do the initiations. Okay, after you studied at the school, they would do the initiations in the pyramid. Okay, in the king's chamber, I think it was. Anyway, there's a sarcophagus and there's a big box in it, but it wasn't actually for a dead person, right? This was actually a tool that could open up the energy centers and bring you up to that level, that frequency of God man. All right, it was like a test basically to see if you were ready for it. You would get in there and you would go. She described it. You would go into this meditation, and it would take you through these things. You would be confronted with things like first the root chakra, so it'd be like your fears, right? Okay, and then the next one would be, I'm pretty sure this is it. Again, forgive me if I'm getting it wrong. If someone has read the book and I'm getting it out of place, I'm doing my best to pull from what meant the most to me and stood out. So one of the other tests was the dance of human biology. Basically, she described it as like you have to be able to control your sexual desires. You have to be able to rise above that. And that's one thing that people, I don't think, are fully aware of how strong human biology is in driving your desires and driving and making help, like being the thing that makes your decision, you know? Okay, so that's why people who wanted to be brought up to that level of God man, see, because that's the thing. Elizabeth Teich in the book, her memories was of she wanted to get to that level so fast before she was ready. Okay, and they even tried to warn her ahead of time, but she was like, "No, I got this." And they were like, "But you haven't even had any experience out there when it comes to like love and romance yet. What makes you think you're so sure that you'll be able to not succumb to that and then burn out your energy centers?" Like if they basically were telling her, if you go up to this level and then you succumb to those desires that are lower level desires, it will drop so fast that it will burn your energy centers out, and then you won't be able to have the same control over your environment as you usually do. Okay, because she had a pair of pet lions that her father had given her, and when you reached a certain level, the strength card. Think about the strength card in tarot. Okay, she could literally go and pet these lions and be around them. She could, they would not harm her, you know, because she had that peace and that sense inside of that tranquility, that frequency of commanding God energy. And I know it works because I've used it before. I'm a dragonfly charmer. Okay, like one of the first things that I tested out on was dragonflies, and so I just would go inside my body, right? I would try to channel, bring as much of God inside of my body, all right, and feel as much love, because that's what it comes from. It comes from like a love and a joy. So I saw a dragonfly, right? And I did it more than once. I've done it with butterflies too. And so I sit there and I just connect with the creature and I tell it, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful. I love you so much. You know, I just want to get a closer look at you. I promise I won't hurt you." You know, I think all creatures somewhat succumb to the flattery energy, right? I was just saying to it, like, even if, like, obviously that's a human construct, that concept, right? But that frequency of it, it's like your willpower. You're driving this creature, right? To accept the fact that you just want to get closer to it. You just want to see it. You just want it to come on your hand or whatever it is. And sure enough, I would do that. And I would go up to it and it would come and it would land right on my hand. And so I would do this often. In fact, one time I even um, saw a butterfly flying once. It would come like, I swear to God, this butterfly, it came like 3 times. And I called him Mortimer. And so I jumped up. I saw him. I jumped up to see him. I startled him. Okay. And he literally came up to me, got right in my face, and startled me right back, literally landed on my nose, and then jumped right off. And as it landed on my nose, 2 other insects, flying insects, landed on my hands. It was really, really trippy. It was weird. But anyway, let's get back to what we're talking about. So the frequency and the energy of this, the strength. So they warned her, don't be, if we push you, you really got to make sure that you hold yourself, you know, that you hold that energy inside you, because you could burn out your energy centers if you were to drop it down too fast. Okay. And eventually, you see, that was really the whole point of why she was remembering all this, is because she did fall. She did fall. She fell in love with a man. This man came in. He was a red-haired man. That's what the chapter was called. It was called The Red-Haired Man. I remember that. And she didn't know what to do with herself. She fell in love with this man, and it like sunk her down. And so she went to go visit her lions to comfort herself. But because she was in such a state of disarray, right? Because the man left. That's the thing. It would be one thing if she fell in love with this man and he fell in love with her back, and maybe they're working on the same team, so therefore but that wasn't the case. This man was from like out of some other fucking land, and he left, and it broke her heart, and she was unable to control her lions anymore, and they devoured her. They sensed it and they devoured her, according to this book. Okay, so truly, the process of ascension, just so you know, as you're walking through this and you're trying to rise up these rungs of consciousness, don't rush it. It's the thing. We're going to be going back and forth like this. Is the thing. It's like a tuning. Okay, so like You get used to being able to handle this much energy, and then you go up to this level, but you don't stay there very long. You just come back down. And then you start to go up here and you stay there longer. You come back down, and then you come up here. Now you're living up here, and now you're going to the next level. But you can't hold that energy for very long, so you have to go back down. And then you come and you do it again until eventually you're able to just go up and down right here and stay wherever it is that your frequency needs to be for whatever work it is that you're doing. Okay, so it should not be rushed. They basically told her, don't rush the process. Don't rush the process, because there is value in the experiences that come from human pairing and coupling, right? There is value in that. You know, the human race would not be here without that. Okay. And from my own personal experience, I can tell you guys, now that I am in menopause and I have fully gone through menopause, and I'm no longer in my maiden era, I'm in my crone era, which I'm actually kind of excited about now because I can see the pluses. I can see the benefits of it. I can see how much hormones used to drive the chariot about a week and a half, a month. Okay, and I'm not talking about this because period time is different. But when a woman is ovulating, I mean, I'm a woman with 6 kids. Tells you how much control I had, right? You know, like, so there is value in making sure you like sow your wild oats type of thing. If you need to go through that, otherwise, you know, the ascension part, you might just go up there and then you're just going to fall back down. It's going to take you twice as long, okay? Because that's where I'm going. I'm trying to have as much of God's energy inside me so that way I can do his work here on earth. My life now isn't about procreating to make children to keep humanity going. I did that. I have made my contribution, you know, but now where does that lead me? Now I want to have more fulfillment in a different way, you know, because it's not just about the body's experience, it's about the spirit, about the spirit's experiences. Okay. So, like I said, menopause was a very big game changer for me. And honestly, my first test with the High Priestess, you know, it came, the choice was at this point between the man that I talked about, the tarot reader. They had the daughter that passed away, right? The man I saw in the vision on the crystal egg that said, follow him. He had the star over his head, him, right? Between him and my ex. All right, the man, because I ended up choosing the other guy, right? But this was the comparison here, right? Which one are you going to choose? And I'll tell you that I already had an inkling that that it wasn't going to be the tarot reader at the time, because I had actually had a very prophetic dream about my future. Okay, and I really think it was hinting towards the pandemic. I really do. I really think it was hinting towards that time, because in this dream, there's just some things that dreams that you remember, they're so vivid you don't forget the details, right? Because I feel like those were previews of the future or something, or tapping it. Like, how did I have all those dreams that were the conferences I was going to? You know, I don't know. So anyway, back to this dream. This was like another one of those real dreams where I was in my house and we were being taken. My whole family, we were being taken and put it into these tall apartment buildings. They were taking all of us. They were rounding all of us up. And suddenly there was a whole new set of rules for the world to follow. And there were rules that made absolutely no sense. Like, I remember one of them was like, we're not going to be able to swear. Not going to be able to say swear words. Okay? Not going to be allowed to eat meat. That was one of them. I really don't remember the others, but there was a whole list of them. Okay? And so I was in this apartment building that they were shoving all of us into. And I went into the bathroom of this apartment building and I looked out the window. And out the window, there was a field. Okay? It was more like, it didn't have tall grass. It was like short grass. It was like more of a, like dirt with patchy grass. Okay? And there was a line of soldiers. And across the way was a line of people. And these soldiers had their guns. Okay? And they were shooting the people. And as this was happening, a red cardinal flew down in between the gunfire, and it went across the field like this. And that was when the light of God appeared over my head. And God said to me, he said, you see that red cardinal? He said, you are like that red cardinal. He said, you could run across that entire field right there like that red cardinal, and not a single bullet would hit you, because you are not meant to die. You are meant to live, and you are meant to be a midwife. Because at the time, I'd been praying and asking God, am this the path I'm supposed to go down? Am I supposed to go down the path of midwifery? And so he said this to me, and I picked up my cell phone because I was going to call my boyfriend at the time, which was the tarot reader, right? And so I opened it up, and I went to go call him, and when I called him, it just went. So I knew at that point that most likely things were not going to be going forward with him. And towards the end, the way things ended was, he was an older man. Okay, so like he was 43 at the time. I was 23 at the time. He really liked teaching me things. He would talk at me all the time and just teach me. Like one time, I remember he went over this cabbage soup recipe that he made, and he went over every fucking detail of how he made this cabbage soup. And I'm like, and I didn't even, I'm never going to make this cabbage soup. Like, I don't want to talk about this cabbage soup, And so I remember I had tell them we needed to talk, and I was ready. I was like, because I had just cleaned up all the mess that I had made from my first marriage, and I had my first awakening, and I was connected to God at that point. I'd done my 40-day mantra meditation program. I was on that next level, right? And so I basically just said to him, I'm upset because you constantly talk to me like you're the teacher and I'm the student. I was like, and that's true. I said, but you're not recognizing that sometimes I'm the teacher and you're the student. And he got so fucking mad about this. Okay? And he stormed out of my car, slammed the door. A week later, again, Spirit, the high priest, was offering me up these two choices, right? I just cleaned up my mess. The world is open to me, okay? And tarot reader, one that wants to teach me everything, right? And then we got this other guy here, the gift from God, we'll call him, because that's what his name means, right? So there's gift from God, and the tarot reader, gift from God. Which one? I basically broke up with the tarot reader, and then I was talking to this gift from God guy, my future ex, okay? And because I talked to him in the past too, he was kind of like an on again, off again thing. And so basically, who was I going to choose, right? So tarot reader came back. He's like, tried to walk to the bedroom or something like that. And I was like, no, I just want to be friends for the moment. He was like, I'm sorry, I can't be friends. I can't just be friends. So on he went, okay? And then the new guy comes along, and I just thought to myself, God, like, this guy was real chill. And I thought to myself, man, he's never going to be able, he's never going to fall in love with me. He's never going to say I love you. Because at the time, culturally, like, I'm watching, it's funny, I'm watching a lot of Friends and stuff like that, all the different romances and all that stuff. Like, there's things like women come to expect, like that first time someone says I love you, that first time a man you're dating says I love you, right? That was one of the things I was like, this dude's never going to say. But I was cool. I was cool with that at the time. I was like, not a big deal. I wasn't even worried about it. And then like a couple weeks later, he's like, wow, like I've never told a girl this, but I love you. I'm in love with you. And because of what I went through with my ex and all the guilt that I still had over the choices I had made, the bad decisions that I had made. All right, I decided, wow, what an honor that someone would be willing to give me their heart. I'm going to make sure that I treasure that. I'm going to make sure I take that seriously, because I felt like I had failed so bad in the past, right? So now I'm going to treasure that, and I'm going to take that so seriously. But I made a mistake, because I had not taken into account, due to my own guilt and my own self-punishing, all right, I did not take into account, like, but is he taking care of my heart back the same way? Is he honoring my heart the same way. You know, and so I stayed a lot longer than I even should have because of the fact that, for one, I had that guilt, but for two, because of human biology, I had the best sexual connection with them. I chose the sexual connection. I chose to go for that, you know, because I was still being driven by my human biology. You guys just don't know, especially, I don't know. You aren't going to know this until you either get it under control or you start to age. And again, this is another reason why initiations weren't supposed to take place in your youth. You're meant to live those things. You're meant to have those experiences. You don't like shame it, poo-poo it. You know what I'm saying? It's important. It's valuable. All right, but that's one of the reasons why. And it even made me think of the metamorph example of Kamala in Star Trek, one of my characters, right? You know, that was the thing that was so potent about her, was that she emitted this pheromone that had like an actual physical reaction on all the guys around her. And so that's why she had to be kind of like locked up in her room. All right, otherwise it was going to cause all this drama in the ship, right? I literally felt like that when I was ovulating. I'm telling you, men would act different. It was insane. So we're out of that stage though. Okay, now the thing is that there has to be a real connection. Now that the body doesn't just have its own horse to pull it, so to speak, you know, there has to be an actual connection that's deeper, on a deeper level for me personally. I can't do it unless there's that deeper level where it's respected. The act of it is respected. I can't. I refuse to do it anymore. I refuse to ever have another dog again. I refuse. Okay, so yeah, so I had the High Priestess choice. Which one was I going to choose? The older guy, or was I going to choose the one I had the more sexual connection with? At that point in my life, I chose the sexual connection. All right? Like I said, I did it because, and I stayed longer than I should have because of my own guilt and my own self-punishment. And it's easier for me to talk about this stuff now, you know, because I'm past that stage. Like, I'm ready to leave the dance of human biology behind for something that is a higher purpose, with a higher purpose for connection to God and connection to others here. Okay? I feel like there was one more thing I wanted to say before I shift gears to this next part. I'm just trying to remember it. Oh, I guess, no, that will come up in the next part. Yeah, it will. Okay, so where will that come up, though? Yes. So hold on to that thought. Hold on to the dance of human biology. Hold on to that second test that I was talking about, where you get taken up the energy centers so that you can raise your frequency to become one with God, so you can do God's will on earth. Okay, hold on to that and put that aside for now, because we're going to switch back over into where I basically left off on part 2. Can you believe that? I said all this stuff and we're only at the where I left off in part 2. I don't even know how far I'm going to get today, guys. I don't know. Okay, so at this point, the angel hunter and the artist, that had happened at this point. Okay, my entire life blew up. My ex found out everything that had been happening behind the scenes, and I had to live with the consequences. I basically was left living in the ruins of the tower moment that the angel hunter had created for me, which was really a result of my own actions too, though, you know. So I mean, I do take responsibility for my parts in this. You know, I want to. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. When you really want to learn and you really want to grow, you want to look at those things. You want to. You're desirous of that because you know that's how you're going to grow and how you're going to learn, and it fulfills you in its own way. That's how you change. It's how you become a better person, the best version of yourself. That's what I wanted to become. It's the best version of myself that I can be in this world. Okay? So I had told the truth. I basically said, you know, that I'd be willing to try and work things out with my ex at the time. I said, you know, and I showed him the text, and she's like, look, I broke it off with the guy. I did. You can see I broke it off because I literally said what I was doing wrong. I was like, I am turning away from my relationship in order to be fulfilled. when really, instead of turning away from my relationship, what I'm supposed to be doing is I'm supposed to be turning back towards it to see if it can be fixed, if it can be repaired. When we had children together, I did want to see if it could be fixed or repaired, but I already knew from our past experiences together that this guy already had paranoia about me. He already had extreme jealousy. There's like, all I did was add gasoline to the fire of that. There was going to be no way. And honestly, at that point, I didn't even want to try anymore, because the whole thing was is that I had begged for his help for years. I gave him everything I wanted. I gave him everything he wanted. Okay. I was like, that's the thing, is that I had learned from my first marriage. I felt so guilty about the fact that I had gone out and cheated on my first husband. Okay. That I was like, I'm not ever going to do that again. No, never, ever, ever going to do that again. Because I see the destruction it caused, I thought. All right. But that did not matter to him. That did not matter to him. It didn't matter that I literally isolated myself and I made my life, I don't even know how to put it. Like, I basically lost everything. I traded everything to just try and keep this man happy, to just try and to keep him from being worried. Like, I couldn't even go get my hair done, okay, because I have long hair, and I would go to this place that was like 45 minutes away, because it was like cheaper to go to this place. And it was students, though. It was students doing the hair. And so they would take extra long. And so I'd be gone for 4 hours, to get my hair done. And I'm getting my phone blown up as I'm trying to go home with accusations of, where am I? What am I doing? And I put up with it, and I tolerated it because of my guilt from what I had done. Okay. So after all those years of remaining faithful and not going that route, and he still fought it all the time, and he didn't hear me. I'm begging for connection, begging to just help me feel love again, so that I can show my children love. And it fell on deaf ears, and so even though I tried to fix it, it wasn't going to get fixed. But I felt more free than ever. That was the hardest part, was that I felt so much happiness and so much joy, and just the fact that I had finally been honest, not only with him, but with myself. It mattered so much that I had been honest with myself. I could feel it. It was actual, and that's what I'm always craving. I'm always looking for it. That's why baptisms were so disappointing to me. It should feel different. People don't realize these ceremonies were actually supposed to do something and make you feel different. The initiation inside of the Great Pyramid would take you up those levels, and you would feel it. You would feel the difference. So I felt so much better, but yeah, he was just so miserable, and it made him so much angrier to see that I felt this way. And so it was very much a struggle. I mean, I didn't know what else I could do at that point. And so another heart song came through. So now I told you that the strokes started coming up in my life now at this point, right? Okay, well, this song came through, and it was called Human Sadness by Julian Casablancas and the Boys. And this song, man, it got me. It got me good right there. It got me so good. It started off with saying, beyond all ideals of right and wrong, there is a field. I will be meeting you there. Okay. And this really much reminded me of the fact that, of one of the lessons that I had learned back in my 20s when I had first awakened. I was saying, in the fact that there is no good or bad. Like, there is no right or wrong. It's about your perspective, kind of. It was a concept, and I will get into that in another stream. But so anyway, this song stuck out to me when I read this, and that's what he's singing. And then he basically says, this is the other part of the little clip, right? And it was, just walk me through it. Tell me what to do, I do it. Tell me what to do, I'll do it. All right. And when you watch the video, you'll see that what they're doing is they're showing how past traumas, they're literally doing flashes. It's like flashbacks, like it's connecting. So this guy, he's in a bar, and he's having flashbacks of his childhood where he witnessed his mom being abused. Okay. And now it has driven him to basically be an alcoholic. you know, and to the point where he likes getting kicked out of bars. He's like they're trying to fill the void, right? They're trying to fill the void. One of the bandmates is like in a hotel room with two chicks and money all around. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't even look happy, right? Like that's what this video was telling me. Like there is a connection. You need to start looking more at your childhood trauma and seeing how they created those bad behaviors, how they created the ripple effect of the patterns of that you just keep repeating, that all of us keep doing. Okay, from child, it does. I'm not even joking. I'm going to show you at least one example of how it starts to ripple out. But there's many that I have discovered from in my own personal life. Okay. Oh, we're down a couple pages. This is good. Okay. Oh, midnight not right. Oh my God, midnight not night watchers. Nice to see you. Okay. Can't talk sometimes. That's all right. You get tripped up. Okay. All right. So this song, "Human Sadness," and when this came through, right? Okay. Well, the person that I would tie this type of energy to, honestly, is someone that it reminded me of, right? It was the person who popped up in my head when I had called out for help to the universe. Help me. And he said, tell the truth, right? Because this person reminded me of this person. This person reminded me of Julian Casablanca. All right? So anytime a Julian Casablanca song would come up, or the Stroke songs would come up, because a lot of times, remember, I'm like talking to this person, right? I'm like sending them thoughts. Because I mean, I don't really know how telepathy worked at that point. I'm just like, well, you know, I trust God. And so I'm just going to tell God, and whatever God wants to convey, you know, then I trust God to give that message, you know. And so I would just, you know, I'd be talking to different guys. And so I would just ask, hey, what do you think about this guy? You know, and here comes a fucking Stroke song. Oh boy, and it'd be singing the exact situation of what was going on. I'd be like, wow, another one. Okay, here we go. Like so many Stroke songs. And I'm going to be talking about Stroke songs. Let me tell you, I'm going to tell you how they worked out. Because I want people to realize and see my process, because my process might help you discover your process so that you can see how fucking psychic you are, because we are psychic. You know, we are. We are picking up on things. We are connecting to things. Okay. So what I was asking for from this song, Human Sadness, was I discovered what I was really asking for was help from healing from these childhood traumas and how they created these bad behaviors in my life, these bad situations, these traumas that I was doing again and again and again. And I realized also, because we're getting back to the end of the Angel Hunter, right? All that stuff had happened because you thought it was over. You thought it'd be done. You would think it would be fucking done with that Angel Hunter. But it wasn't. I realized that this is something that had been going on for many lifetimes. I was seeing the 9 of rods, or wands, whatever one you call it. That's what I was seeing. That's what this was with this guy. Like this had been happening again and again and again. And you got to think about Les Miserables. Okay? Les Miserables was, that's what kept happening. Like it was like different lifetimes even. That's what it represented to me. Like each and every one of these moments was like another lifetime where he's chasing this guy. He's chasing him. He's chasing him. He's chasing him. He gets him. He finally realizes he's the one that is wrong and he should stop chasing and try and capture this guy. And he can't even reconcile with that. And then Javert kills himself, right? And so I thought this was all over after he told my ex everything. But it wasn't. All right. Shortly thereafter, I would say probably a month and a half later, I decide, you know what, I'm just going to go look on his Twitter. I'm just, you get curious. You're like, what's my ex posting? You know, type of thing. And you go and you look, and there it was, guys. There it was for the world to see. A post about me, a picture I had sent him, a nude I had sent him. He blurred out the important area, thank God. But yeah, it basically was like one of my promos, right? It was like it written on it like, beware Christian men. That was what he titled it. And it said all of these crazy things. Some of it true. Some of it not, though. Some of it I was just like, what the fuck? That's what he was thinking the whole time. He didn't even tell me? Like, oh my God. And of course I freak out. Not that he had a large following or anything, he didn't. But I freak out. Like, oh my God. And I can't even tell anyone. I'm like, who am I gonna tell? Like I had one or two girlfriends I could mention it to, but like I was so upset and I'm shaking and I can't tell man that my ex that I'm living with why I'm even upset. Right? So obviously I reported the account. Nothing was happening though. So finally I was just like, okay, you know what? Maybe I should do some magic. All right. Because one of the things that he had put in the post, all right, was that he said, have fun in your car accident. And I knew exactly what he was talking about when he said that because he had told me that he felt responsible because he had done a spell one time to make these people get in a car accident. And he said it worked and the people died. And so now this is how far he was going. Like he's saying, he's threatening me. I guess he was hoping that I would come and look, and I did. And he said, have fun in your car accident. And I was like, oh shit, this is bad. So I'm trying to report his account and get it taken out. Nothing's happening. So I'm like, I turned to a friend who does magic, does spells. She gives me this spell to do. It was a freezing spell. Okay, so what's a freezing spell? Well, I took his name. He had a package. He had signed the package in order to send it to me. I took his own signature. And I think I wrote something along like, you shall do no more harm to me, or whatever it was that I wanted to stop at the time. And I put that piece of paper into a bag of pee. If you use pee, I heard that it actually works better for people you have past life karma with. So I put this piece of paper in a bag of pee and I put it in the freezer. And within 3 days, his account was gone. That was the purpose of the spell. Take that down, stop him from attacking me. And so obviously the spell worked, but I was still seeing him. You know, like I was still occasionally felt like I could, like I just sensed him there. And so I even saw him at one point. Like I literally could, like it's like so you see someone for a flash. I saw him next to my car. And I was like, oh my God, like when is this guy ever going to leave me alone? Like I've really fucked up here. So I just thought, God, what do I do? What do I do to get this guy to release me? You know, like what is it that he's so like? He obviously the thing he's upset about the most is because, like he had told me at the beginning, he didn't even want to feel love again, and somehow I had inspired that in him. Okay, and now he couldn't have that thing. All right, so I thought, okay, what I'll do is I'll go inside myself, and I'll muster up as much love as I can, and I'll send that to him, and I'll think about him, and I'll think about all the things that I love and am appreciative of from our experiences together, and wish him well. And when I actually did this, I physically felt the release, and he released me, and it was over. And I was grateful for that. So that's the thing I had to realize is that a lot of times love will win someone over, even when they're upset and they're hurt and they're angry, right? If you just really choose to find the love and you choose to view things from the lens of love, it'll make a situation better. You know, obviously maybe that doesn't include singing I don't give a fuck about you. I don't know, maybe that isn't the right loving move to go down, but at the same time I'm like, I don't care. I don't care anymore. He had that chance. He had the love option before. We're done. All right, I'll stop bringing that up now. Okay, anyway, switching gears. Okay, so now that was over. Done. Put that aside. Okay, now a new player has entered the scene here. A new character, right? That I'm going to talk about now, and that is the Earth Star Healer. Okay, this is one of my best teachers here. I remember I first saw her. She was on a round table. She was on a round table with 3 other people. All right, it was like Matthew Moran and Eric Rains, and there was, I think it was Barbara Buck. think that's who it was. It was this round table. We were doing these meditations. Um, and in my particular meditation, I thought it was very, very interesting because I had not thought about this particular initiation step, right? I hadn't thought about that in years, but in my meditation, what I saw was a bunch of people. It was a dance floor. It was a ballroom, and there were just people dancing, couples, right, and looking at each other all longingly. And there was a staircase, and there was a figure up at the top of a figure at the top of the staircase. It was a male figure. They were like, "Are you ready to leave the dance floor?" And I looked up, and I looked at all the people having fun and dancing, and the men and the women together. And I said, "Actually, I think I want to play for a little longer." I said, "I think I'm not exactly ready to go yet." And they said, "Okay, that's all right. We'll be ready for you when you are." And I said, "Okay," because I still wanted to dance a little bit more. And so I realized, at this point, the Ursula healer, she was pregnant, beautiful, beautiful woman. Okay, and obviously being a midwife, that always pregnant touches my heart. So it's like, wow, and she was really glowing. It was a sight to behold because she does have so much God light that just shines through her. But shortly after that, you know, um, shortly after that round table, I think it was a couple months later, I heard that her baby had passed. And actually, and I'd had to be there for women whose babies passed. As a midwife, there was it's a rare thing that happens, but I have had to deal with babies that were passed away before they even came out, like at 9 months. One during labor, a first time mom. And basically, I mean, that was what she was. She was a first time mom, and she got to have her baby for a couple days, and then it was gone. And I felt so upset. I felt so devastated for her. And this was another one of those times where Spirit was like, I always pay attention. And Spirit says this to you. Lean into it. Lean into the feeling. Okay. I said, Hope remembers that panel. That's funny. That's funny. Okay, so Spirit told me, lean into it. Okay, so I'm going to lean into it. Why am I so angry and hurt for this woman? And I realized that it's because I felt like it's like sometimes when you're writing a life chart, it feels like this. Sometimes it feels like you can be a little overzealous. When you're up there and you're in those higher realms and you're feeling those levels of bliss and joy, okay, and you don't have a clear enough perspective of what it's really going to feel like inside of the body, right? So it felt like so she put this into her chart, thinking this is going to be a great catalyst to help her be able to prove to herself that there's truly life after death, and whatever other lessons that she had planned for herself on that one. But I also knew with that came great trauma, and I thought they did not warn her well enough. They did not plan this properly enough. I'm like, they really were holding her back now at this point. They put too much on her plate. Is what it felt like to me when I leaned into it, and I was upset. Why did this happen to her? Why did you guys let this happen to her? Kind of like, why did the angels, why the Spirit, why did they let that happen? Then wouldn't they know that's going to be too much? It's too much. With a woman with her mission set ahead of her, like it's a huge one. It's a huge mission. So here was my plan. Here was my second heart wish. All right, my second heart wish was this. Okay, I asked God, if it's in alignment with God's will and the timeline of highest love and joy, then I request that a group of all of those who love her the most, okay, I was putting the call out into astro, all of us out there. I'm asking for all of those who love her the most to gather, and we will take turns bearing the weight of her grief and trauma, so that it may be processed out of her body faster and allow for her to get back to her mission of helping to heal humans. All right. And I picked a song for it. And I was going to do some dancing as I thought about this request. Okay. And the song was Aurora, I Exist for Love. All right. Now, it's so amazing because about, what was it, how many months later? Now, I'll just tell you the clarification, and I mentioned this before, the confirmation I got about this. All right, because as I was doing these dances, as I was listening to the song, and this is my heart's intention of what I want to help her with, if it's possible, if this is God's will, because that's the thing, I'm very much about working within God's will. I think it's very important to be clear about that when you're asking for these types of things. And I felt that grief. I felt it come to me. I felt it. I felt the pain, like when it was like my turn, right? And I bore it, and I cried. And then my good friend Alexis actually told me, I think it took almost a year later, a year and a half later almost. I was talking to her, I was opening up to her, I was telling her about this particular heart wish. And she said, I told her about the song even, and she said, wow, that's crazy. Because shortly after all that happened, a group of us girls did all decide to get together, and we all did a circle with her, and that's the song that they used to grieve. They literally used my song that I picked. I don't know. Did I pick it? Did God pick it? Or we just like in alignment, just frequency, like how does that work? I don't really know. Like, I don't want to claim that it's like, I'm this great, look at me, I'm doing this stuff, and it's me, it's Cassandra, I'm doing this stuff. No, it's not me. I give this to God, and God fulfills the wish. He fulfills the request. Okay. So about 6 months later, after all this happened, all right, she made a video announcing that she would be starting her school. It was going to be like a Hogwarts school. All right. It was a Dumbledore's army, she had asked, right? Okay, so I'd asked God for a sign because this was kind of an expensive program to be taking for me. I did not have a lot of money at the time coming in. So this was like a big decision. I was already taking other classes, you know what I'm saying? But those classes were only running for like 6 weeks, whatever stint that we were doing. So this was going to be a weekly class for like a year, okay? And so I was just really nervous about it. I said to God, I need a sign. I said, if this is like a Hogwarts school, all right, so then I want a sign like Harry Potter got. Okay, like I didn't expect no fucking letter to come flying through my chimney or nothing like that, but I wanted to hear an owl screech. I wanted to hear an owl call. Okay, if I was meant to go to this. Here's the thing, I've never heard an owl call. You know what I'm saying? I only recently got into like the different bird calls. Okay, and so I just told God, I want to hear that. If I hear you make it clear, and I hear this owl call, I'll know, and I'll go to the school. Okay, well, sure enough, later on that night or the next day, I can't remember which it was at this point, but it was nighttime. Owls are nighttime creatures. I had my window open, and I heard this crazy bird call. I was like, oh my God, what is that? What is that? I have to look it up. And so I'm like, is that the call? Right? And so I'm looking up owls in Michigan, eastern Michigan. And it turned out that it was an owl. It was an eastern screech owl, and so I knew this was God driving me. This is how these are the synchronicities from Spirit that guide you on your way, show you where to go. And so I knew I was going to take these classes, right? Then the next week after that, she made a video called A Message from the Galactic Blue Fairy. I remember that got me so excited. I was like the most excited about that particular video at the time. I was, because, I didn't know I was the Blue Fairy at the time. I didn't know that. And so she made this video. She had this promo. It was this beautiful Blue Fairy, and she said had a message. I had a blue fairy, a galactic blue fairy, come visit me in my dreams, and she basically told, like, this is what the Earth Source healer was saying. She was saying the galactic blue fairy basically told me about human trafficking, child trafficking, like went into it like great detail, like really like emphasized it. It got her motivated and passionate about being more vocal about child trafficking. Okay. And on top of that, she said after the dream, she heard a news story. Okay. She was watching them. She heard this, you know, how a news program, right? It was not an article. It was actual like video. And in this video, described the most horrific thing someone could do to an infant. She went over it in the stream. And you know what was crazy? And it stood out to me at the time. What's crazy is the first ever story, a news story, that woke me up to the true horrors of what humans were capable of doing and the sickness that is in this world and has infected human consciousness. The story was the exact same story that she saw on the news. It was the exact same one. You know, it was about a father that had killed an infant through sodomy. I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to say it. Like, I feel like part of the reason that they put those stories out there almost in a way too, though, is to like implant human consciousness with those ideals. You know, similar to how like pornography sites, right? They title the shit like crazy because humans are so susceptible to that, and so it's like corrupting us. It's allowing us to be degraded and corrupted sexually. It's just disgusting. You know, I don't think that just humans alone, though, that are creating that. Do you think that it is interdimensional beings that are also infiltrating? Because I think that was the storm that me and my crew rolling up to this planet, okay, when I was my most important dream, and I was chasing a storm of pink and black. I feel like that was the human consciousness, and we were coming in here to try and cleanse it. I don't know, try and uncorrupt it, and it is going to happen because in my dream, my most important dream, it does eventually dissipate. The storm will dissipate. Storm is upon us, right? So let's go. Let's see where we're at. Okay. And here's the thing. Okay, so months and months later, because I didn't know it was the blue fairy, and so I'm just gonna skip ahead real quick and tell you before we continue on the linear timeline is that after I finally was told I was the blue fairy, and I came out and I shared that with people, the Earth Star Healer went and she tagged me in the promo for that video that I had watched. She tagged me on it, and she said, "It was you." And all of a sudden I was like, "Oh my God, it was me." You know, what is the story of the blue fairy, which originally was called the fairy with the turquoise hair? You know, well, what was the story about? It's about a being, a star being that wants to grant the heart's wishes of people who have pure hearts, true, pure heart intentions, wishes. But she wants to grant that for people. That's truly what I want. And it also happens to be a story about child sex trafficking ring on an island. Is that not a sign of the times? Like, that's when I was really starting to wake back up again, right? When all this Epstein stuff and all that stuff was coming out. Okay? Like, dang. Crazy. Okay. So, let's see. Oh, and I have a little side note here, too. It's like, you know, one of the things I began to realize fairly quickly was that people could pick up on my thoughts. That people would pick up my thoughts and they would pick up my feelings. And so since I realized that this was happening to me at the time, I had to make a choice. People are going to know my thoughts. Well, then I guess I better make them the best damn thoughts I can. See, that's what inspired me to start you know, like, because I remember I was doing those experiments where I was like thinking about people, and I didn't realize like I was going to them as I was thinking about them, and I was just going to them and just sharing up with them, saying, "I love you," you know, like, "This is what I love about you," and then you pull out and you think, like, it's like looking in a mirror. So what you see in another person is in you. So the more I'm doing this for other people too, the more I'm showing myself what's inside of me as well. It's teaching me, you know, it always, like, that's what we can do for each other. We can look at another person, and that's the thing. You need, if you want to see more of your own good, you want to see more of who you really are, look for the good in others. Always look for the good in others. You know, like that, it's how you would want to be treated, right? That's the golden rule. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just like noticing the chat from afar. Hold on. I love you guys. Yeah. Thank you for being here with me, being with me through this. Okay. All right. So yeah, I was gonna make those the best damn thoughts that I could ever have, because people were getting my thoughts, and I was wanting to do what made me feel the best, what made me feel good, what made me feel closest to God. Okay. So now we got that part out of the way. All right, I'm walking us up, right? I'm walking us up to the sacred marriage ceremony, so that way you can understand what I had to go through, what I had to process, the steps I had to take in order to have this eventually be fulfilled, right? Because I was never going to get married again unless it was fucking for real, and it was like God willed it, and it was a God experience, you know, like that was the only way it was going to be good enough for me of my life. Okay. Okay. So Angel Hunter was done. I finally broke things off with my ex, the gift from God. He still is a gift from God, and he gave me two of my children. I do love and care about them. Okay. Taught me a lot. All right. So I broke it off with my ex in order to have a clean start. So that way, if I did want to be talking to anyone else, if I did want to be going down that route and seeing if I could have a partnership with someone, well, I needed it to be clean, right? So I made the break, and someone did come into my life. And this man was in the community. He passed away tragically. I'm very, very sad about that. Okay, like, he meant a lot to me. He left a lot to a lot of people, and it was, I'm just gonna say his name because he's passed away now. Is Robert Johnston. All right, he had his own YouTube channel. He was in the community, SSP community, and so we started talking, and we started watching movies together. That's what we do. We'd make our plans to watch movies together at the same movie at the same time in our different locations, right? And we would talk, chat, whatever, through it. And so Spirit was giving me characters for people still at that time, right? This is one of my gifts. Spirit will show me through different characters, different films, different shows, scenes, and stuff like that. Who is this person? And the person they told me he was Hellboy, which I thought was really funny because it definitely seems very much like an Aries sun energy, and he was an Aries sun with the Cancer rising. So I don't know, it just seemed like it totally vibed correctly for me. And so I told him, you know, like, Spirit's telling me you're like a Hellboy character. And that's one of the movies we watched was Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. And I was Elizabeth, the girl with the blue flame, right? That was my character. And he said he would be honored, right? He was honored that his character was Hellboy. And I was like, yeah, well, it felt so good. He was very, like, much a gentleman, you know? And I remember because of that connection, I was able to start practicing other abilities with him because he allowed me to do that. All right. So in fact, when we very first started talking, I was saying to him, because I was figuring out, like I said, I was figuring out that I could send people my thoughts, but I was also trying to figure out, like, can people touch each other, right? Can I physically make someone feel my presence, you know, from thoughts and focus and intention? Okay, and so I had said something to him. I said, you know, I think I might have these certain abilities, you know, but I don't want to, like, I won't intrude or nothing like that, you know. So if you ever get some really nice thoughts in your head and and I pop into your mind, it could possibly be me. You know what I'm saying? And he said, I'll never forget. He was basically like, well, feel free, to visit anytime you want. I was like, don't worry. How did I put it? I forget exactly how I put it. He said, feel free to come and visit and, have at it. Do whatever you want. Think about whatever you want. And he was being flirty. And so I was like, wow, you know what I call that? I was like, I call that consent. And he laughed. It was really funny. And so I was like, well, let me show you. So let me try. And so I tried to touch his head. I said, did you feel anything? And he's like, yeah, actually, it felt like someone was like stroking their fingers on my head. I was like, wow, like this is crazy. And so I because of the time zone difference, I remember I would wake him up at night too. I would say his name, right? And I would just think about him, and I would just blow wind at him to see if it would, if he could feel it, if he could sense it. Not thinking about the fact that the time difference, he's sleeping, like, oh shit. And it told me, it woke him up, so I was like, okay, I'll stop doing that. I'll hold back. Okay. Little I know, he was going to be helping me break the first chain of the childhood wounds that were repeating in my life. Okay. Gosh, how long have we been going? Because, yeah, Jesus Christ, Cassandra. I don't even know if I'm going to keep going right now, guys. I'm at the gifts of spirit meditation, basically. I guess I could just quickly go over that, and maybe I'll have to go over the rest of it next time, because I'm going a long way, and I really want to do the tarot cards. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to what's gonna take us up to February 2021, but we're gonna stop at December 2020. So at this point, this is the last part. The gifts of spirit meditation. So all this stuff was happening. All right, gifts of spirit meditation comes up. It's on the 12th, like 12, 21, 20, I think it was. Like, what was it, 20th? I remember there was something about the date. Can't exactly remember which the date was now, but in this meditation, Spirit gave me these golden cups that were for protection. And this was the first appearance of me being connected to the blue fairy, was in this meditation. It was one of the most important meditations I had, because they gave me the heart of the blue fairy. They told me this. They gave it to me. They said, this is the heart of the blue fairy. And it was a blue fairy heart. That's what I said. I was like, this is a blue fairy heart. Okay, I see it. And it looked very weird, though. It had it was like shaped weird, and it had these twigs coming out of it. That's why I said a blue fairy heart, right? Because of the twigs and stuff. I'm like, this is a blue fairy heart. And then, I said to my team, whatever, I said, well, this is great. Love it. Absolutely love this gift. But I said, how do I start it? How do I turn it on? Because clearly this heart is supposed to be on fire, so how do I get it to start? And Spirit said, don't worry. You'll know when it happens. You'll know when it happens. I said, okay, I guess I'll wait then. And I put it in there, right? Come to find out later on that the shape that it took was actually the sacred geometry of the heart. And it's called a chestahedron. And the way you build a chestahedron, the way they figured this out, was they have to build it with these sticks. And where the twigs and the branches were coming out, that's exactly where they're supposed to be, in order for when it starts to spin, okay, when it starts to ring, it's a bell, like a bell, all right, when it does that, that's when it's on, right, that's when it's on fire. That's the chestahedron. That's how it gets created, with the help of these stabilities, with sticks. Yeah. It's truly amazing. And so, eventually it did start, and we're going to go over that next time, because I want to get onto the tarot cards. So, yes, I made it through 8 pages, but we had 10. So we did pretty good today. I mean, I'm sure the whole earlier portion of the stream kind of took up a large quantity of time. Oh, funny shit. I know, right? I know. Okay. I guess on that note, before we get to The tarot cards, I just want to say that I just really want to give like a little memoriam. This is like in memoriam to Robert Johnston. Okay, this man was a brilliant man. This man was he lived in Scotland. He actually lived around the area that the show Outlander was filmed, and he actually took pictures of it for me. He loved his dog Lucky. Oh man, I remember Lucky. All the pictures of Lucky. But he actually lived in the area where that show took place, and you could feel it through the picture. That's what's so fun about pictures is that you can go to those places. It's like a little portal. You can go to those places that they're taken at, and you can feel into it. And I remember, he loved cigarettes. That was one of the things. I thought that was just really cool. I remember the time I saw him, my friend, one of my friends at the time. I'm like, I can't say her name right. I'm seeing like her name flash in my head, but I can't even say it right now. I remember she said to me, "You got to see this video. Did you see his latest video? Like he literally lights up a cigarette during the stream, during the video." And I was like, "Oh man, that's hot. That's cool. That's sexy. That's cool." Right? He had a great sense of humor. Great sense of humor. He adored his nan. Right? His nan she was a Trump supporter. He had videos of her, and she was really funny. Let's see. He had interesting music taste. He did share some of his music with me, and I still have it on my playlist. He was from a family of fishermen. And the thing that I think he should be most proud of is the fact that he actually stood up against the government during COVID. He stood up against them over the lockdown because they basically made his nan. I feel like they made his nan die alone. Is what it was. And so he really was devastated by that, and he put in the work. He put in the work to try and fight against that, and that's more than most of us do, right? And so wish he was still here with us. Appreciate all that he helped me learn. I pray he's doing well. Yeah. And he'll get talked about more. He will. Because he has multiple parts in my story. So I just wanted to take a little moment of silence there for him, to remember him. So thank you for being in my life, Robert. Anyway. Time for tarot. Thank all of you for bearing with me during that very hard and choppy fucking part 3. I promise it'll get better. It'll get easier. I think I had too much on my mind with the whole dog scenario, SST Golden Boy. I think that they kind of took up a small portion of what I planned on, my mental energy, right? My mental focus, to be able to focus on my part of that part 3 was a little taken. So who is still here? If you have not joined and subscribed to my channel already, please do. Please do now if you're still actually here and hanging out. And if you haven't already, please give a thumbs up to my video. And now we're going to go ahead. We're going to pull a fortune cookie. We're going to pull some tarot cards. Who is ready? Thanks for hanging out with us, Kiki. Ray. Hello, Ray. Let's clear the space for a second. Yep, there it goes. What message does Spirit want to tell us? What message does Spirit want to tell us? This one? Okay, this one. This one. Who's ready for some messages from Spirit? Oops. If this has no fortune in it, I'm gonna. Okay, remember that one because there was one time I pulled it and I didn't even have a fortune in it. I was like so mad. So okay, watch there be two messages. That would be funny if there was two messages. Enthusiasm is the greatest asset in the world. It beats money, power, and influence. Enthusiasm, the greatest asset in the world. Beats money, power, and influence. Okay. Like that. All right. So I'm going to do one oracle card from the fairies, healing with the fairies one again, because I just really liked that deck from last time. Let's see what the energies have in store for us. Yeah, I knew part two was God. They're already talking. Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing. I forgot about that. Yeah, I did. I did forget about that. Is that one of the things that Spirit's been telling me lately is that those two chains, those two levels I broke through, right? If you guys have ever seen the movie Scott Pilgrim versus the World, okay, basically at the end of this movie, Scott, the main character, he has to go and fight this guy named Gideon for Ramona, okay, and as he has to go up steps of a pyramid in order to even get to the fight, right? And in order for him to get a sword, it's like a video game. It'll be like, Scott has earned the power of love, and then he pulls out a sword. Oh, hey, and I got a sword. So Cassandra has earned the power of true love, right? Cassandra has earned the power of self-respect. Like that is the two things that Scott has to earn and learn or whatever, right? To get to the next step to kill Gideon. All right, because really he had to realize that it wasn't just about love for Ramona; it was about having self-respect for himself, and so he had to like break open and tell the truth to the characters before he could fight Gideon. But then after that was fought, there was another level, okay, and that was for him to fight Nega, right? Nega, Scott, so like negative, right? Nega Scott, which was a shadow version of him. It came walking down the stairs. It was like, Link, how Link has a shadow version of himself. You have to fight Shadow Link, okay? Well, Scott had to fight Shadow Scott. And so I realized that's what I'm battling now. I got through those two other things, and I'm, in my chariot, right? I'm driving my chariot. And so what am I battling now? What was the next boss level up is myself. There's a shadow back here. The shadow back here. I realized it was my own shadow, right? It's like over here, okay, so over here to the right is like a sun, right? It's like God's light, a sun. And the sun is shining on my physical vessel, my body, okay, which is the character that I'm playing in this life, this lifetime. Okay, and then the sun is shining on that, and what's behind me over here is the shadow from the sunlight. Okay, so it was over here that when I went to go do the Rife treatment at the Full Disclosure Now conference, that was where I heard yelling from me, telling me not to do it. Okay, that it, like basically it didn't want to heal. Okay, there was a part of me, I said to you guys, like I sensed it, that there was actually a part of me that didn't want to heal. And I had to work through that in order to go through with the Rife treatment. And so I realized, in the movie, Scott and Shadow Scott, basically they don't end up fighting, they end up becoming friends. They end up like agreeing to go to like the Waffle House or something like that afterwards, so it's like, okay, so that is like the next step. I got to battle myself, but it's not, it's like, I don't know, you have to work with it. I guess you have to work with your shadow self, right? So that's the stage I'm at now. Battling myself, battling my own thoughts. clear. Okay, cleared. Yes, put it all aside. Okay, who's ready for a tarot card pull here? Do humbly request that you please assist me. Making me aware of what's going on. You're watching this stream now and in the future. Yeah. Request received. Okay. Request received. Awesome. All right. Message to spirit. Need. Okay. All right. First card. What is collected? First card. Wow. Okay. We got a return. It was like from 2 weeks ago. We had this guy right here. Okay. We got the Lover's card. All right. Again, this is about being seen. This is about true intimacy. A meeting of divine counterparts is what I heard. It's like, I see you. You're beautiful. Look at that. I think it's funny too how the dude has the rods on his side, because rods are very much a masculine action thing. Rods are like the masculine energy. Action is, right? Oh, I just love this card so much. It's so pretty. I could look at it all day. Look at it. It's so pretty. Okay. So yeah, this is about the desire to truly be seen and to truly have a real connection with someone. I mean, look how close they are. See that? Like, he's looking into her eyes. You want that connection, and it can be experienced. Anything that is outside of us, right, is also inside of us. Like, the reason we're seeing it outside of us is because that thing exists inside of us. It's like as above, so below type of thing, right? So the energies going forward here is this desire to have this true connection and to truly be seen. And that is really what I desire, because that's the thing I realized, how lonely it gets when you start going up these different rungs, right? If people don't know that this is the way you can do things in order to have more meaning and fulfillment and purpose and stuff, it's like the more I go up, like the more the depths I go to of meeting myself and knowing myself and truly who I am and having that connection with God, it's like the lonelier it gets, because the farther away I get from just normal people. So how do you find that, right? How do you find someone that can actually see you and meet you at the level that you're at if your focus is on God and you're like, I want to ascend and I want to be the best version of myself. Well, as you get closer to that, what about all the people who don't share that same goal? The gap is getting farther, right? Not only that, this is triggering and bringing up another thing, the lesson that I didn't even write this in the notes, but it's like human biology again, that sex drive, the desire, the procreation, right? It is driving you. And when you first come into yourself, when you first are learning and discovering about yourself, it's like it's easy to match with just about anyone. In fact, Elizabeth Height, she gave this example. I use the puzzle piece example, though. I'm going to use that one first. So it's like you're a puzzle piece, right? And when you first become yourself, right? When you first walk in that path, you're like a really easy puzzle piece. You're like one of those big ones. It only has like 6 pieces to it, and you can almost like shove it into other parts of itself, right? And the more you get to know yourself, and the more experiences you have, the more you chip and shape your puzzle piece. So eventually, it's going to be so unique that it's going to be very rare. Like the fits, right? The matches are going to be rarer and rarer and rarer. In fact, she finally, that's where how she ends up taking it to a twin flame connection. All right, like that's how Elizabeth Height, she actually went with that. She delved into that topic more, and I'm going to go and I'm going to look at, I'm going to pull that book out. I'm going to scan that book back over again because there's a lot of things that they keep pulling from me that I can't really express completely, right? In a way that I feel confident to say it. So yeah, about finding someone that can really see you, which, like I said, this can get more difficult the more you know yourself, the more deeply you know yourself, and the more you raise your frequency up. Okay, so we got the Lover's card. Tune back in. Okay, yep. Explain more on the Lover's card. What's the next part of the message? Magician. We got some major arcana coming through here today. So this magician has come a very, very long way. You see he's got all his tools out on the table, right? Like that's the first step, is learning and recognizing which tools you have to use. Okay? You might not even recognize that you're in a magician phase yet, because it's really the next step after the Fool, right? So the Fool basically uses his tools and his abilities. He doesn't even know he's using them. He's just ignorant. Ignorance is bliss for him, right? But now the magician has a path set before him. He wants to know how to use these things. He wants to know how to wield that sword. He wants to know how to fill that cup, make that pentacle. All right, I'm also seeing that we're shielded. We're safe. This is a shield to me right now. All right, this actually even reminds me of my sword here today. So a magician appears before you here. Okay, so if you think you haven't come a long way, you need to stop and take a look at where you were a year ago. But look in the mirror, just see who you were a year ago. I mean, gosh, look at all the swords right here. This is like, the table is mental. This is mental. The tools are actually in your mind. That is where you hold them. Okay, because that's where all these tools are laying, in your mind. Okay, and the light shining upward, it's like, that's your light shining on it. Oh my gosh. Yes, that was the song. Yes, it was a song. Come on, shine your light, shine so bright. Oh, that's what song they were playing this morning in my head. Oh, The Greatest Showman, Come Alive. It was singing to me when I woke up, and it was saying, come alive, let your heart burn, something, let your heart burn bright, let it shine, let its light, something like that, reaching up to the sky. Yeah, so listen to that song. It's a great song. Anyway, that's what it's all about. It's about showing people, not being afraid, not holding back, and coming truly alive for everyone, Okay, knowing your tools and knowing how to use them. They're all in your mind. We are shielded. Your light is shining. You want to be seen, right? We got the Lover's card over there. We got the Magician. Now let's go on to the next part. Oh, Kiki returned. Sorry. Yeah, we just had, okay, I don't know how long you've been in here, Kiki, but we got the Lover's card for the first one. We got the Magician. And then we had a fortune cookie that said, sorry guys, I'm reading this for Kiki. Okay, I won't do this all the time, I promise. Enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is the greatest asset in the world. It beats money, power, and influence. That was our fortune cookie message. Okay, so the bottom of the deck. I don't often look at the bottom of the deck, but sometimes I like to flash it at myself. So that was the Death card. But let's go ahead and pull the last card. This is a rebirth. Last part of the message. Tell us more. The last part of this message for guys here. Okay. What's the last part? The last part. Okay. My God. Okay. The Hierophant. That's the see the keys. See that I wasn't even going to sing that first song that I sung. I actually I had plans to sing a different song. All right, I had either way. I was coming out here. I was gonna be fucking throwing down. Um, but yeah, the other song was the other side from The Greatest Showman, and I was just gonna sing the first part. I was gonna, say yeah, you know, like basically, I'm putting the offer out, guys. Like I don't want to chase you down, but I know you see it. I know you see my fucking magic. I know you see it. Don't you want some of this? Don't you want to run with me? Because it'll set you free. All right. I got the keys for you to break you out of that cage that you're in. That's what the song was saying. Like I'm trying to make this deal with you guys. Like come along with me. If it's crazy, then live a little crazy. You know. So trade your typical for something colorful. Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna do the whole fucking thing. I really was, but I can't now. I can't. I don't fuck with you. Song took precedence, and so now that's done and over with. So the last card we got here is the Hierophant. Okay, so what's this about? This is about what's doing the best for all involved, the highest and greatest good. What's the highest timeline of love and joy? Like what I was asking for, right? We got the Holy Trinity over here, right? We kind of started to talk, but like the Trinity stuff comes up all over the place. Okay, like Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? Mother, Father, Child, your higher self, your body, and then the creation, the Christ child that it makes. That's what Lisa Renee's work referred to it to as the Christ child inside of yourself that we all have to be born, to be reborn. Okay. So he's got some keys for you. I got the keys, guys. I'm trying to lay it here before you. Okay? Like, you may need to seek some counsel. Maybe you don't realize how far you've come with your magic, with your tools. Maybe that's the thing, is that you're not really sure how to use them. Like the tools are like before you think maybe this is what it is. And you want someone to see you. Like you're looking for that connection. You're craving that connection. Well, there is someone else here. There's a Hierophant character that's going to help you find that. It's going to help you discover how to create the thing that you want, attract the thing that you want. Because there's two keys. There's the keys. That's the keys to the chariot. I'm trying to show you how to fully, truly drive your chariot, which means that you're going to have to get control of its baser instincts, the body's baser, like the instincts, okay? Because even sexuality can be raised up in frequency. There's like, think about lust or passion, totally different things. Similar energies, but different things. If you want to feel that true connection with someone, you want to have that true sacred divine union, then you're going to have to let God kind of take the wheel, right? Let Jesus take the wheel and show you how it's done. So wow. I mean, I just love this spread. And then we had this on the bottom. That's fucking crazy, right? Like all these major arcana cards. Like this is like, you have to let something die. Okay? You have to let something die. Like look at all the thoughts on his chest, right? You have to let go of all that stuff. I've been calling this time in my life right now, I've been calling it the Great Purge. It's the purge. I'm purging everything that I have been going through for these past 6 years or so that way I can make room for those new experiences that God has planned for me. And I know he does have great things planned for me. The outcome is going to be even greater than I can imagine it. It's all going to work out for all of us, and it's going to be even better than I can imagine. That is what my guides say to me again and again and again. Because why? Because they love me and they want me to be happy. And I love you and I want you all to be happy. I love you guys and I want you to be happy. I want people up here on my level. Join me, won't you? Let's climb this ladder together. I'll hold yours still if you hold mine still. Let's climb up. Let's be here together. I don't want people to be alone and feel lonely. I want them to know that there's nothing that brings my heart more joy than when I can find a way to make another person feel seen, truly seen. And maybe the reason for that is because I know how much it means to me when someone else sees me. I know how much it means to me when someone else is able to show me that they really see me. And that's not something I get very often. In fact, I get quite the opposite lately, it seems like. I get a bunch of people, a bunch of guys I talk to, right, that just keep showing me they don't see me. They see themselves. And they see these wounds that they have that they are not doing the work to fucking fix. And so it's the great purge. Guess what? Like a bush, cutting it all. We're going to make room for new growth. Mm-hmm. Come on, come here, the call. For anyone who's looking for a dream, yeah. Okay. That was Come Alive again. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Oh, yeah. One of the oracle cards. We're going to do the oracle card, and then we're going to be done. Oh, thank you guys for staying so long. Thank you. It means so much to me. For real. All right. Let's do one more oracle card, and then we're leaving. Guys. I'm going to go spend some time with my baby girl on girls' night. That's what we do on Fridays after my streams. I order DoorDash for her and watch Roblox. I can never say that right. Very good. Roblox. She loves Roblox and Robux. That's the cash and Roblox. I fucking hate saying it. But yeah, we play this game called DTI, called Dress to Impress. And I'm going to tell you, it is actually really fun. It's actually really, really fun. She's just such a great little girl. I swear to God, she's an amazing little artist already. She loves all the girly things. It's all I ever wanted in a daughter was just, I wanted a girly girl. I wanted a girly girl so bad. She's even worse, honestly, about clothes and stuff than I am. She's more picky about what she wears. Her dad kind of spoils her to that. Literally buys her like everything that she wants. Tons of clothes. And she don't even have to ask for the clothes. He goes out and buys her clothes because he was always really into fashion. He literally has like a hat collection, like 300 fucking hats. He loves hats. And so he would buy, he even makes them now. He takes these patches and he sews them on the hat and he sells them because he's really good. He's like great seamstress. That's what I would call it though. That's okay. Seamstress. All right, so let's go to the oracle cards. All right, healing with the fairies. What do the fairies have to tell us? What do the fairies have to tell us? Okay, what do the fairies have to tell us? All right, who's ready for a fairy oracle card? Oh, one more shuffle. Spirit want to tell us in the fairy oracle deck. Oh, I have to. It's so habit. I have to cut the deck 3 times with my left hand. I just learned that when I was, I don't know, 13 or something like that, and now I can't not do it if I'm doing tarot or anything. Like I have to cut the deck with your left hand from right to left 3 times. That's what I do. So anyway, oh, Trevor showing up at the end. Hi. Seamster? Yeah, maybe it's Seamster, Victor. Maybe it is. Okay. Yeah. Wait, hold on. I'm just seeing. We got the Hierophant last time. Yes, because I remember asking you particularly, Victor. You had wrote in the chat what the cross thing was, right? It was like a special tool, and you searched that for me. I just want to say thank you again. I'm telling you, this guy's got great energy in my chat, and that's why I keep inviting him back. I'm like literally going out of my way. I'm like, I don't care if he sees my phone. I'm going to make sure he sees it. I'm like, come hang out. Come hang out. Hope I'm not harassing you too much. Okay. Oh, wow. Another person. Low Tech Revolution. Nice to see you. Yeah, nice. Oh, we met in Sedona. Oh, wow. Thanks for coming here. That's wonderful. Oh, my light's still bright. I'm trying. Okay. So let's do our last. Yeah. What the spirit? Follow your dreams. I think this might be my favorite oracle deck. Follow your dreams. Thank you, Dennis, for this oracle deck again. Oh, look at that beautiful card. That we got like a crane down here. Definitely should look up the symbolism of the crane. Okay, what else can I see here? Wow, it looks like a white dove here up at the top. Oh, there's angels, angel babies. They're influencing your dreams. Follow your dreams. Okay, let's see what the book says. Okay. Card meeting. Meditate on your heart's desire. Rearrange your schedule so that you're spending time in ways that are truly meaningful to you. Sometimes it's difficult to know what you truly desire. You have so many outside influences, as well as personal fears tugging at you, demanding, pay attention to me. You wait for a free moment that you could devote. Wait, hold on. Sorry, guys. You wait for a free moment that you could devote to your dreams, goals, and aspirations, yet the moment never seems to arrive. The fairies ask you to take charge of your schedule. First, they ask you to meditate on your heart's desire. Make a list of 5 priorities in your life. Then write down a schedule in ink so that you'll spend the necessary time engaged in these activities. It's not important what you specifically do during these times. What's most important is that you invest time and energy in that which makes you happy and fulfilled. Your affirmation is, I deserve the best. I take charge of my schedule and my life. Love that so much. Because, that's one of the biggest things that I asked from Spirit, and they literally took me through the fucking ringer on this. When I asked Spirit for discipline and diligence, that is what I asked, and they were like, it's going to be hell. And I was like, do it. Like, pull the band-aid off, fucking do it. Like, I need discipline and diligence. I could see that that's what I was lacking. Because Lisa Renee, right, one of her things in the Ascension glossary. What the hell? Hold on, guys. Not a scam likely. That's weird. Okay. Yeah. Where are we going at? All right. Yeah. Discipline and diligence. The houses in the mind. Ascension glossary. Black Heart of Anubis. It's called the Anubian Black Heart. She goes over all the ways in which demonic consciousness infiltrates the mind and the different places in which it shows up. And I could tell that one of the rooms in the house of my mind that was in chaos was the houses of discipline and diligence. And so I needed those. And so I said, let's do it. And that was me going through last year, working as a DoorDasher nonstop and running away from my pain, my traumas, and all that type of stuff, right? But it did teach me that. It taught I had to teach the body. I had to make the body get used to doing these things, a routine. Body doesn't want it. It fights it. It doesn't like change. Right? So sometimes you have to force it. So following your dreams, I can see how that might be difficult for some people because it means making time for yourself and making a schedule, making a routine and sticking to it, because it's hard to change if you don't already have one. It's hard to see the value in it. Like your body's going to shout possibly louder than what your spirit will shout. So spirit doesn't really shout, it whispers. It speaks through images and feelings. And so, except for my guides. My guides literally, I can hear them talking to me now just straight up. Like sometimes it comes in faster than others. Like it's like a burst of something coming through and it unfolds real quick. Okay. So I told you guys, they told me that guy was going to steal my food, right? As a DoorDasher, Spirit said to me, guy's going to steal your food. I had this conversation real quick. do you mean he's gonna steal my food? Like I can't take it to the bathroom. Well, again, it happened again. Okay, I was sitting out. I took my son to the doctor. He had he's got type 1 diabetes, and so we were at the doctor, and I was out in my car. He was in waiting, and I had my car on, but it wasn't started. It was just the electricity was on, and Spirit literally, like, it was said it so fast and with such urgency, it was hard for me to even unroll the words, like unfold it. And it was basically saying, like, if you just sit here with your car like this, you're going to kill the battery. So you better start the car now. And I went to go start the car, and it wouldn't start. And I turned it off, and I tried to start it again. It started, and it fucking stalled. And I was like, oh, God, you know. So I took the key out, and help me. And I put the key in, I turned it, and it started. And I drove around the parking lot until I made sure that battery was charged. But yeah, so Spirit usually talks, though at first it was talking just in like buzzy energy, and then images, movies, songs, things like feelings. But eventually you get to the point where it's like the telepathy part, like it comes in clear, loud and clear. And on that note, I think we're done here. Unless anyone else has anything else to say. Yes, changing routine is hard, Victor. Yeah, we definitely are co-creators of our reality. We're gods. We're gods in human form. You know, like our spirit is a part of God, and when we get it in the body, like that's the seventh rung of the ladder is God, man. Yes, mindset and willpower and the heart. Yeah, intentions, desires, focus. You're welcome, Barry. Thank you for coming. My lips keep getting dry. Sorry. Oh, I could feel as I was talking and stuff. I was trying not to just constantly touch my mouth because I could feel the dry skin right here. I was like, you know what I'm talking? Okay. All right. So, if there's anything else, go ahead and say now. Otherwise, yeah, I think that might be it. Law of One info. Yeah, Law of One is really good. I personally learned through A Course in Miracles. Well, A Course in Miracles took me really far too. You know, like they're very similar. And when I read the Law of One, what I love about the Law of One is this: is that you really have to read it slowly and take in the words. Like they have to, like you can feel there's a jam-packed energy that is behind the words even. You know, and so it's like you really have to slowly dissect it and feel it as you're reading through it. The spiritual truth. Spiritual truths aren't just read or seen with the eyes, they're felt inside the body and with the heart. You know? Yeah. Several times over, that's pretty sweet. I do have that book. I've never read all the way through it, but I'm very bad at reading all the way through books. I did read Lord of the Rings, though. Can you believe that one? First book and half of the second one. Amazing book. Amazing. Love Lord of the Rings. Gandalf. Wait, what was my character at? I don't know. Gandalf. Oh, wow. So Barry Lipton is saying the solar activity is having many 3D impacts right now. It's a little surreal. No, this is true. This is true. I have been feeling this intense energy come through. And it's not just the solar activity. The solar activity is definitely a big part of it. But, you know, it's Saturn, too. Saturn and Pluto, I'm pretty sure. Like Saturn finally his station, and it's going to be going direct. And I don't know about anyone else, but I literally could feel that one. Like, that was when I was like, okay, we are done with these dudes. It is time to end it all. We're burning it all to the ground. getting back on track. That's more Pluto energy. I feel like the burning it all to the ground part, right? It's time to get more disciplined. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to I do like to try and take notice. I used to a lot anyway. I don't so much anymore to take notice of the way I physically feel when we get the big solar flares and solar energy coming at us. And at first, it used to make me real tired, but then I noticed it actually makes me kind of high. It makes me feel high. It makes me feel like, gosh, how do I describe it? Like almost like I'm on a drug or something. Sometimes it makes me feel like I'm on an upper, and I'll be like, wow, is that is there a solar flare or something? I mean, I used to literally go and look immediately if that's what I was starting to feel like. Yeah, but sometimes I feel like physically though, it's like impacting our body and it's like emotionally, spiritually, like energetically, I'm in that high state, but physically, like my body just feels like it's beat down in a way. It just feels like my shoulders get it a lot in the back here. It feels like I'm just carrying like okay. It feels like I got like these wings back here. That's what it feels like I'm carrying these wings. So that's what it felt like anyway. Today, later today, earlier today, later today, later today. This will feel like that later too. Hmm. Oh no, sorry, I meant read through, read through the law. Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying. You read through the law of one several times, right? Am I getting this wrong? Low tech revolution? Apologize if I did. Truly. Hmm. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Victor. Hopefully you can see them. I'm good. Okay, low tech. I'm good. That's good. Well, I've had a wonderful time here. I will be back next week for part 4. Obviously, I got to keep going. Spirit's not gonna let me stop because we're in the purge. It's the purge time. That's why I feel like Saturn's influencing me that way too. But no, no, that's still more Pluto. A purging. A purging would be more Pluto. I feel like. Don't stop, can't stop, won't stop. Thank you, Chris. Mhm. Yeah. Gosh. I feel like there was something else I was wanting to share. Like there's always things like later on throughout the week I'll be like, oh, I want to say this. I want to say that. I've been getting better. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, my human body self is basically protesting every time I start writing. I mentioned this to you guys last week. I love writing and I hate writing at the same time. Well, Cassandra hates writing because I promised basically that we would never have to write again after my my final semester. Was it my final? No, it wasn't the final semester, but this big semester I had at U of M. Okay, where every class I took like 12 credit hours is like full time, right? I took 16 credit hours, and every single class I had was writing. I had to write papers. Like one, I had to write a 10-page paper every single week, and but you know what it did? It got me nominated for National Dean's List Society. It's like this, I don't know, this group of students that a teacher has to nominate in order for you to be put on it. And I guess only 10% of students get nominated, but only 0.01% actually get chosen to be on it, right? I was one of those. I loved it. That made me, it was a nice reward for all the hard work that I had put in, for sure. I do what I am. I've heard that before. I've heard she actually has a really great course, and I think I might do that. I'm telling myself though I'm not okay because like I said, Cassandra's already protesting that I'm fucking writing 10 pages. All right, she's like I'm writing 10-page paper a week, and now I'm doing it again. It was 10 pages last week. It's 10 pages this week. I'm doing it again. That's why she's so pissed. She's like, how dare you? How dare you make me do this again? You told me we wouldn't have to do this again. I never wanted to have to do this again. Well, things change though, and for my better, highest good, it's discipline and diligence, and it must be done. Thank you, Geraldine. I did feel really good about it. Not only that, I had a newborn baby almost. It wasn't a newborn; he was a couple months old, but I had to like breast pump in the middle, in between classes and stuff, just so I could make sure he had food to eat. I did that. Amazing. I don't even know how I managed to keep that all up. And one of the best classes that I took, I still remember the class. It was a philosophy class. I remember that one. My God, did it help me so much. It was a philosophy on law or something. It was ethics. It was an ethics philosophy class. It was one of the most beneficial classes I ever took. hmm Out of all of the classes that I took there, definitely philosophy is something people need to really get into. Sorry, I'm like a little scroll over here. A little bit of this. All right, no, for real though, for real. I probably should. I'm just enjoying hanging out with everyone right now, so I'm kind of letting it. I'm letting it roll. Trying to think, is there any other things that we want to talk about before I go? Yeah, any other dreams? Oh, someone says a question here. Hold on. Are NPCs real? Oh, couple questions, a couple things here. Wow, I just completely rolled over that. Let's see. Low Tech Revolution says, are NPCs real? Well, yes, clearly they are. Clearly there are humans out there that have their souls abdicated the throne, so to speak. I don't think every human has a soul. In fact, I sometimes wonder, like how many of us truly do. You know, like is it a smaller amount than what we think? I don't know. Some weird things because it connects to a different dream that I had. This dream about oh, this is kind of a scary dream, but this is another one of those that I really remember. So I'm really hoping that this. I'm kind of hoping that the elements of this dream are not a prophetic dream and are maybe just an alternate timeline that I was viewing, because I do have another dream that's similar that I feel like was an alternate timeline. Um, but I had this dream way back when all the other prophetic dreams were the big ones were being seated in me, right? Angels were there seeing those dreams in me. And it was that robots took over the world. That AI, and like it looks like these robots like that were in War of the Worlds. Is that the name of the movie? War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise and all that, right? Those tripod things. But it wasn't just those things. It was like the Matrix ones. The ones with all the lenses and they have the tentacles, right? You said these things had taken over the world, and me and my husband at the time, my second husband, and our children were all trying to hide away from these robots. And we went to my grandma's old house, and we were hiding in the basement. And then we came upstairs, and one of those scanner things were there, and me and my husband at the time had to destroy it. We managed to kill it and escape. And shortly, we went and we found a tree to sleep under. I remember just all my kids. Like, here's the thing: at the time, I had more kids than what I had at the time. So, and there was a little girl that was sleeping in between me and him. And so now I feel like, wow, that must have been Sarah if this is a real dream, right? My daughter. And then so we found shelter under this tree. We slept there for the night, and then the next day, um, we started to make our way to meet up with all the people, all the humans that had survived, because the war was now over, and we managed to end these robots, this AI intelligence. We did end up destroying it, right? We were successful in that. But when we finally met up with all the people, where I guess humanity had agreed to all, anyone survived, anyone who's left, come to this place. And there were so few of us. And I remember just asking, I looked at someone that was there and I just said, is this all that's really left of us? And I woke up. So I don't know. Yeah, the Sentinels, I don't know. Could just be another alternate timeline. I'm just hoping that's what it is. Obviously, even in the long run, if it is a prophetic dream, well, then that means we were successful, right? It's kind of crazy. Dreams are wild. I wish I could have dreams now like that. Remember my dreams now. I just don't. Now, if I have dreams, I only get a tiny snippet. And like you guys know, the snippet always happens. Snippet always happens. Okay, Victor said, I had a dream last week where I woke up as someone else in another lifetime or an alternate reality in the future. It's probably real. Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Because dreams are real things. Okay. They're especially ones like what you're describing where you woke up like that. It probably is where you go when you're sleeping. Your consciousness is just shifting gears because consciousness doesn't sleep. Even the body sleeps. Consciousness just pops right out. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Real. That's the real right there, Victor. It's the real. Yeah. Backdrop people. Oh, okay. Dolores Cannon coined NPCs backdrop people. Oh yeah, you know what? There were some other things people said. I just totally fucking ignored it. Victor also said Pluto's fighting back for being demoted from the planet status. Really? Yeah, you're right. You're right. It has been. Pluto is a planet. I don't care what anyone says. It's a fucking planet. Oh my gosh. Okay, for real though. Okay. I'm like, I'm having so much fun though. It's so hard to stop. Just come back next week. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to my channel. Okay, and if you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, please consider, liking it. Come back for the tea. We'll have more tea to spill, right? Well, hopefully I won't, honestly. Hopefully I won't have to be coming in here and busting out some Big Sean again. Because I won't. I refuse. I refuse to go. I have too much other things to focus on. Yeah. Yes, exactly. It stays a planet, Victor. It stays a planet. Thank you, Braden. Was this a good tea party, guys? It was. It was some pretty hot tea, wasn't it? Piping hot? I told you it was piping hot. The title did not lie, did it not? Please leave me a comment below if you're watching this video in the future about any questions or things that you might just want to share with me. Would love to see it. I'm really happy, though. I'm mostly happy. I'm working. I can just feel I'm working. It's like I got out of that post. I was like so excited to be united, right? Reunited, and it feels so good. Like that's what it felt like back in August, right? When all that stuff started, where I started going back over my story. But now it's like, okay, I had my time to relax and enjoy myself and feel all that positive, fuzzy love energy. And now we are back in the work. We are in the work. It's the great work. And on that note, guys, go listen to some music, dance a little bit, rewatch the part of the stream about the tarot. Make sure you pull in all your insights for yourself. All right. Have a great weekend. Have a great Thanksgiving. I'm going to try to be back here next Friday for part 4. If for some reason I take off next week because of Thanksgiving, then you'll see me the week after that. But I honestly really probably expect to be back next Friday because I actually did after Thanksgiving special last year. It was a Doctor Who special. I had a lot of fun with that one. So can't wait to get back to some of that stuff. There's some other stories and other characters and stuff. There's some other things I want to go over. I already have them planned out. So we got some things on. And I really do need to get StreamYard because I really do want to have some people on my show. You know what I'm saying? I want to have like a back and forth conversation with people, interview, whatever you want to call it. You know, like for one, the Psychic Duck, right? I'm gonna bring the Psychic Duck on my show. You guys ever seen Psychic Duck? Yeah, you know she's on Rob's channel all the time. Typical skeptic. Like she's the first person, you know. And then yeah, I got a list. I got a list of people that I would like to bring on and just chat. Maybe we'll like that will be like I'm definitely gonna do it with someone. We're gonna do Reddit stories because it needs another person in order to. I can't just read at you. Like we need another person for a back and forth on the Reddit stories, and I am gonna bring those back. Okay. I know you're always down for Doctor Who, Barry, and I will be bringing some more Doctor Who. All right, so you better come for those streams because I love me some Doctor Who. We're going to get into some deep lore. I've actually been thinking about doing a whole thing on the Master. You know, the Master. Well, Barry, you watched the earlier one. I need you to catch up. I need you to watch the David Tennant, Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi. I need you to watch those ones. I've heard Stargate was good too. I love Star Trek. Literally know every single. I've watched it so many times. Star Trek Next Generation. Know every single fucking episode. Every single one. There's not a single episode. If you just tell a little bit of what it is, I can pull it out and can tell you exactly which episode it is. Love that. But I've not watched the Stargate show. But the movie I was obsessed with. The movie. Literally obsessed with the movie. Used to. When it was out in theaters, it finally came to the dollar show by my house. I literally went and saw it like 3 times by myself. And then I bought the book and I had a statue of Ra. I was like, had this obsession with Ra, the actor that played him. And it's kind of funny. I know you like Tom Baker. I gotta watch. Okay, fine. If I watch the Tom Baker one, you better watch Peter Capaldi one because I want to do a special on the Master who actually regenerates eventually into a female that they call Missy. And oh man, she is hilarious character, and she has a lot to do with Clara's character as well. So, Christopher to Matt Smith, you watched that? You stopped at Matt Smith? Well, let me tell you, push through. Peter Capaldi is the best. Peter Capaldi is my favorite Doctor. Clara is my character, though. You know, so yeah, because they went a little bit more clowny with Matt Smith. His energy was a little bit more, I don't know, like, I mean, bow tie, right? Bow tie, fez hat. Fezzes are cool. The Fugitive Doctor? I'll have to see who that one is. Is that, I hear someone knocking. Yeah, see, you always hate a doctor switch, right? It's always like, okay, I'll have to say I hated the female one, though. I haven't watched the newer ones. It's a dude again. It's a black dude now who's a doctor, except for they literally split off David Tennant. He turns back into David Tennant, and then he split off again into now there's 3 David Tennants. Okay, there's the doctor that was David Tennant's version of it, right? Then he went through Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi, the girl, turned back into David Tennant, was like, I want to be David Tennant, right? You know, and then splits himself off again. The Metacrisis Doctor. The Metacrisis Doctor. David Tennant. It's like, what are they doing with this show? What are they doing with this Doctor? I thought they weren't supposed to last past 13 generations. You know, Peter Capaldi, they should have just ended it with him. I don't know. They can't end Doctor Who. Anyway, okay. So, okay, hold on. Yeah, it's the Master knocking. Oh shit, he's coming. The 4 knocks. Look at this. I start talking about Doctor Who here at the end, and everyone's freaking going off in the chat now. I love it. Oh yeah. Okay, I hear you at the door, person. I hear you. Okay, for real though. I'm having so much fun, but okay, it's been almost 3 hours. We did this right, guys. I'm Queen of Swords and this bitch out of here. So just remember, if you hear any SSP Golden Boys mentioning me or Matthew Mordian hacking his phone, please report it kindly to us. But also, please say, actually, no, they don't do stuff like that because they don't know how. And you were the IT guy. Doesn't even make sense. Doesn't even make sense that we would be the ones doing that. And the screenshots, right? And the screenshots. So come at me. Love you all. We're ending it. Oh, you know what else? There was one more thing. I think it was